Good evening everyone and welcome back to NXTGEN Racing TV, live on YouTube and Facebook. We're here on Thursdays for the Prototype and GT3 Multi-Class League. This is round 4 of the season and we're coming to you here from Indianapolis, home to the greatest spectacle in racing. Of course, the Indianapolis 500 it's home to, which hosted only a few weeks ago. But we're here for round 4 tonight and it's on the road course of Indianapolis Motor Speedway, of course. We're here in Indiana State, the Speedway region of the Indianapolis city. As we said, home to the greatest spectacle in racing, and made quite a name for itself in the recent decades as quite a formidable road course, to be honest. Indianapolis is one of the most original purpose-built racing facilities in the world. It was only 3rd place to the Milwaukee Mile and Brooklyn circuit, I believe. So, yeah, quite a prestigious and heritagical piece of motorsport right here for us, and it continues to impress crowds even today. So the road course layout of Indianapolis here, there's 14 turns on this circuit. It's a little bit different to how it used to look in the Formula 1 days, but this is the layout we know so well with IndyCar and, of course, IMSA. They host the 8 Hours of Indianapolis here each year now, become quite a prestigious endurance event. With 14 turns here at Indianapolis, there's 9 to the right and 5 to the left. So the left side of the car, of course, the car that's going to be lent on the most around those majority right-handers, is going to take a beating on this circuit. So tyre wear is going to be something we certainly look out for tonight. Indianapolis Motor Speedway is a 2.4 mile circuit. The road course is, of course, all 3.9 kilometres, whatever is your measurement. We head into tonight, and this is the Multi-Class League. This is round 4 of the season. Every Thursday, bar next week. Next week I'm on holiday, so we're not hosting. Very nice of the admins to help us do that. But yeah, this league, the Multi-Class League, is the first of the NXTGEN Racing Leagues of this division anyway, that's going to feature realistic weather. And there is threatening weather inbound. There is a possibility that we'll get rain tonight. We haven't got it yet. We've got a dry circuit, but there is a possibility tonight we could get some wet weather randomly at one point tonight. We'll have to keep an eye on things as the night progresses on. And keep an eye on the Discord to see what people are talking about as well, because I like the element of surprise, you know, just looking up in the sky and seeing what happens and seeing the rainfall when it does. So it puts us in a more authentic viewer's position. So tonight is the sprint race and feature race format. We start off with a 20-minute sprint race, and that will follow with a 60-minute feature race. There will be qualifying on the hour in approximately 11 to 10 minutes time, and that will be a 25-minute session all in all, and each class, the Prototypes and the GT3, will each do 12.5 approximate minutes on track to set their times, to set the grid for the sprint race. The feature race grid is based on the classes, but a full reverse grid of each of those classes, the 5 classes we have in this championship, which we'll go through shortly. The calendar for the season is as follows. Now, we do have sprint and feature race rounds, but today is that, of course, the sprint race and feature race format, and last week we had our first of 3 2-hour endurances of the season. We started off all them weeks ago at Mugello circuit for round 1 of the championship. Round 2 was hosted in Spain at the Motorland Aragon circuit. Silverstone GP hosted round 3 of the season, with Indianapolis road course being today round 4. We've got a week off next week, as we mentioned, but then we are off to Road Atlanta only the week after, 2 weeks from today, for round 5 of the championship. Sebring will host round 6 of the championship and the second of our 3 2-hour endurances of the season. Algarve will host round 7 of the championship, otherwise known as Portimao. Spa-Francorchamps will host round 8 of the championship, round 9 being hosted at Imola, the Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari, as it's otherwise known, and the Circuit de Le Mans, which is hosting the 24-hour race this weekend. So be sure to tune into that, as well as tonight, of course. But where else is it going to end? It's going to end at Le Mans, of course. What a brilliant track to end this brilliant season on. A good collective of very, very lovely circuits that we can look forward to as the season goes on. The cars that are featured in this championship. A little bit of a change is needed for this graphic. Now, we don't have our resident graphic designer on hand at the moment because he's on holiday. So we'll update this graphic for next week. But there are 2 new cars in the roster for this championship. Of course, iRacing has just added a new Chevrolet Corvette GT3 car and a Ford Mustang GT3 car. Now, let me do a quick scan of the grid. I believe there's only 1 drive, might be 2 drivers actually, out there in one of the new cars, so it'd be worth keeping an eye on. I think one of them's in the Mustang and one's in the Corvette, so we'll have to take a look at that. But the other cars that are on offer for this championship, there's 4 prototypes. There's the Acura ARX, which of course is powered by Honda powertrains. The BMW M Hybrid V8, one of the elders of the prototype cars to feature on iRacing. The Cadillac V Series, which is a very popular car, and that along with the next car, the Porsche 968, are up at Le Mans this weekend, and both of them are very favoured for the win this weekend, especially the Porsche, powered by Penske. Whereas the GT3s, we've got 6 cars in the list here, but there are 8 cars out on track, available for selection in this series, one of them being the Ford Mustang and one of them being the Corvette GT3, both of which are brand new cars to iRacing as we mentioned. But the other cars that are still in the series and the majority of the field are using them is the Audi R8 LMS Evo 2, the BMW M4, the Ferrari 296, the Lamborghini Huracan, the Mercedes AMG and the Porsche 911. We come back to live pictures, but before we get right into the nitty-gritty, while we've got a little bit of time left in the session here, we'll go through the championship standings as we come into tonight. But of course, we're 3 rounds down, this being the 4th round, and last week was the first 2-hour endurance, and there's quite a few mix-ups actually in some of the classes. We've got a new format to our point standings. Much prefer this, but a big thank you to Paul Williams for putting this together. Really nice layout of graphics here, but we actually have good visibility of all the classes here and also all the rounds that have been and gone, so really like this. But we've got in the prototype gold, Max de Leeden takes the lead in the championship following last week because William Guthrie retired on the first lap, if you remember, and of course a DNF means no points. So there are drop rounds here, so William Guthrie, he said it on Discord as well, he's going to take that as his drop round, but it does mean he can't afford another bad round, so he's really got to make it work from here on. Of course, we've seen really good racing from William Guthrie, pure domination in the other 2 rounds, but let's see how he gets on tonight with 1 bad round already in the books for him. But Max de Leeden, not to take anything away from him, he did have a good charge to try and get the lead back in the latter part of the round last week at Silverstone, but he didn't quite turn out. He finished 2nd last week, but he still takes the lead in the championship by 14 points from Ben McCluskey, Benji Sim Photos of course. He's on 101 points and he's having a good old battle with Gaz Williams, the admin, the chief admin of the series here, on 97 points in 3rd place. William Guthrie, as we mentioned, in 4th position, and Hugo Silva in 5th position on 79 points. Rui Soares in 6th position with Stefan Wessels, who of course won last week's round at Silverstone, is in 7th position. Jamie Dorian in 8th, Igor Martinez in 9th, Sean Shute in 10th, and 11th is Felipe Salvino. Over to the Silvers. We have Miguel Alpalau in the top spot. Of course, he's been putting in some real good, consistent results. A couple of wins here and there as well. And he sits with 113 points at the top of the standings currently. He is rivaled by Paul Williams and Diego Sa, who are very close on points, as well as Jorge Bentes in 4th position there. But it is Diego Sa who has been the headline driver at Aragon and Silverstone Circuit, of course, taking 3 wins in a row as it stands so far in the season. He didn't attend round 1 and that'll be his drop round, but Diego Sa really is the favourite for this category despite being 3rd at the moment. When drop rounds are implemented, we'll see how things turn over at that point. Nathan Healy in 5th position with Dwayne Hoffman in 6th position. Only 1 point separates them 2 drivers. Wesley Lewin is in 7th position with Pedro Ramada in 8th. Mark Baker in 9th with Luca Monroe in 10th. over to the GT3s and the golds. Well, Karol Pachałka has been the MVP this season. He tops the standings pretty much with near maximum points, or even it might actually be maximum points in all rounds so far this season. In fact, it is. I'm just looking at it here. It's 40 points for a win. Sorry, it's 40 points for the 2 wins, and then the bonus points added on 46, and then there was only 2 bonus points available last week, so 52. Karol Pachałka maximum points so far this season, and a very commanding lead of 53 points over Jesse Payne-Wilkins in 2nd position. Gavin Gardner in 3rd position. He had a good round at Silverstone, finishing 2nd place, and keeping Pachałka honest for quite a fair bit of the race. So a good chunk of points for him puts him tied 3rd place with Ben Altria in tied 3rd place there. 5th position is Kieran Smart, and he is only 2 points ahead of Ricardo Santos. Alan McCain is in 7th position. He's had a bit of an unlucky season so far, so we'll see if some luck picks up for him as time goes by in the next few rounds. Russell Fowler in 8th with Edwin Simpson 9th. Rhys Reese in 10th position with Craig Jones in 11th. We'll move over to the silvers now. And it's Jake Pitt at the top of the standings. Of course, he pulled a blinder of a strategy last time out at Silverstone to get himself right in between his teammate Matthew Cheverton and Ben Bennyworth, and eventually taking the win last week at Silverstone. He leads the championship going into tonight with 13-point lead over Matthew Cheverton. Ben Bennyworth is in 3rd position. Of course, we just mentioned he had that great battle with Cheverton and Jake Pitt. It's no doubt that those 3 were the highlight of last week's round at Silverstone. So we'll see if they can carry that into this week. It's very exciting. Baz Meacham in 4th position with Nigel Stock in 5th. Kevin Stringer in 6th position, who I do believe has pulled out of the series due to other commitments and things out of his control at the moment. So I think Kevin Stringer has pulled out of the series on that. Phil McDougall is 7th position with Jochen Siegert in 9th position, Mike Reed in 9th, and Mark Sykes in 10th. Over to the bronzes now. We've got Jeffrey Kruger at the top, and Jeffrey has been very, very dominant this season. I believe it's 4 from 5 he has won this season, and he tops the standings by 21 points over Elwyn Sykes. Stephen de Gravelia, consistent results for him in 3rd position there on 90 points, and only 1 point ahead of Andy Chell. Davide Favo in 5th position with Andy Rooney in 6th position. Andy Rooney, another driver with not much luck so far this season, so we'll see if that picks up for him in this round. Ruben Pino was on his debut last time out, and he had a good 2nd place finish in the bronze category here. He's 7th in the championship heading into tonight, with Kevin Smith in 8th, Daniel Fritz in 9th, and Costa Chats in 10th position. There's the championship standings heading into tonight, and in the nick of time actually, as we're heading into qualifying in just over 1 minute from now. So down to the live pictures. Drivers finishing off their practice here, and the prototypes at the top there. Let's take a quick look at them. Ben McCluskey really challenging William Guthrie at the moment, as is Gaz Williams. There's only less than a 10th apart from each of them, so that could be a good one to look out for. Diego Saar, business as usual, it seems for him in the prototypes, topping the standings in qualifying at the practice at the moment. Karol Pachałka is top of the GT3 golds at the moment, and more than half a second clear. It's just business as usual again for him, and looking for another maximum point round for him today. Jeffrey Kruger is in the bronze category, but he's lapped quicker than all the silvers at the moment. That kind of tells you he might be in the wrong category, but that's the way it's going for him right there in the bronzes, and he's half a second clear of his competitors. And in the silvers, it's Ben Bennyworth who is topping the standings there. So coming out of a good round at Silverstone. But I do believe Matthew Cheverton and Jake Pitt are not attending tonight's round. So it's a good opportunity for Bennyworth to get a strong points finish in tonight. And it means it'll get a real good round in the books for him. And it means good things when it means later on in the season when it comes to drop rounds and general championship battles. So qualifying starts, and it will be the prototypes who Sorry, the GT3s who will go out on the track first. So I wonder, yeah, they are usually out on track first, so pardon me, deceiving myself there. Karol Pachałka slowly makes his way out onto the track, and while we're talking about the GT3s at the moment, we have got a few new cars to look at. One of them being here driven by a new driver, actually, in Kawari, sorry, do excuse me. Yeah, a couple of new drivers, Care being one of them, the others being in the field right now. We've got Eric Sivertsen in the bronze category. He's also driving for Full Tilt Motorsports Cyan. He's not on track at the moment, I do believe. And we have Matt Emmons, who's not a stranger to NXTGEN Racing leagues, but he's decided to drive the Mustang tonight in, as you can see there, in its standard livery. I'm just going to revert focus, a little bit biased, to one of my drivers, Nigel Stock, in the Crest Autosport Mustang there. And yeah, this being one of the new cars that's in the GT3 collective on iRacing at the moment. That and the Corvette, which I don't think is driven by anyone. No, they're all Mustangs of the new car contingent tonight. But we have 3 new drivers tonight, as we mentioned, so welcome to them to the series. One of them belonging to Verano Motorsport, that be Matt Emmons, although he's in the standard Mustang livery there, he does drive for Verano Motorsport, who have been long-time competitors in the NXTGEN Racing Series. So we can see people bunching up here, coming out of the chicane here, as there is a long straight, as we'll watch Matt Emmons heading down this main straight here. It's very cloudy above us, thus the dark track we're seeing below us there. A very long straight here, and it's quite important actually to get yourself a good entrance into turn 1, and Miles Owens is overtaking someone on a qualifying lap here, which is not optimal. He's overtaking Jochen Siegert there, and it might well hold up Matt Emmons here actually. We'll go for on board of the track very soon. We'll actually do it with our championship leader in the golds. Let's see where he is. There he goes, heading towards the end of the lap here. So let's see if we can get a onboard lap with him of the track here, the Indianapolis road course. So we're heading out of the final corner here, and we'll head on to the main speedway straight, which is between turns 1 and 4, and we're doing it in reverse, of course, of the oval layout. Heading down the main straight here, we'll get higher in the gears. There's not 8 gears in this car, there's just 8 available on iRacing, but it was very high speed there. Heading into turn 1, a 90-degree right-hander, then straight away into a long left-hander of turn 2. Kink to the right of turn 3 and braking whilst turning into turn number 4 here, a 3rd gear corner. Accelerating fairly early as we get round the corner into the chicane here, 5 and 6, which is flat out through there. Bit of slipstream ahead of us from one of the e-racecraft cars, poking his nose out to say, let me through, I am quicker. Into turn 7 we go, another 90-degree left-hander. On the power nice and early, another right-hander, and then straight away into the left. 8 and 9 here. He backs off, but we'll stay with him into turn 10, and this will be our progression back onto the speedway. Turn 11 is this one as we head onto the speedway, and then we'll get back off of it. So there's no final corner on the speedway anymore like it was in the old Formula 1 days. It is this little chicane here of turns 12 and 13. As Karol Pachałka decides to abort his lap and head into the pits. Ben Altria still out on track, and he's 2nd overall at the moment. But Pachałka decides to come into the pits, potentially to get on new tyres. Of the Silvers, Ben Bennyworth, as we mentioned, it's a good opportunity for tonight for him, seeing as he is top 3 consistently in this category. It's a good opportunity for him tonight to get a big haul of points, which will help in his championship. In the bronzes, Andy Rooney needs a turn of luck. He does. It's been a I'll say it as it is. It's been a really unlucky season for him. Incidents left, right, and centre, and yeah, he needs to catch a break at the moment, and we'll see how he gets on tonight. But at the moment, qualifying's looking good for Andy Rooney. But he's got newcomer Erik Sivertsen, second, now third of the bronzes, as Jeffrey Kruger has just put himself at the top of the standings, and he's 8th overall of the GT3s of the 19 that have set times at the moment, and he's quicker than all bar one of the silvers. So he's really got some beans in that Ferrari, that CSA Ferrari. And it's looking to be another fine night for Kruger if he can. But Andy Rooney, as we were watching him finish his lap there, he actually did do a very good lap, and he's only a 10th off of Kruger, and he's quicker than all bar one of the silvers. At the moment, anyway. We'll see more come through, I believe. Plenty of time left in this session. We're only 6 minutes down, and as we mentioned earlier on in the live stream, the GT3s go out first and do 12.5 minutes, and then the prototypes will head out on the track, and the GT3s will vacate the track, and the prototypes will do their qualifying for 12.5 minutes. It works out, actually. I did question it a little bit on the first round, but actually with the pace of the prototypes, they actually end up doing a fairly similar amount of laps as the GT3s. With the prototypes having to do recharge laps, they have 1 lap on it and 1 lap off of it, if you want to put it in simple terms. Whereas the GT3s generally are slower, which means they will end up doing less laps, and they get lapped, shall we say, by the prototypes very, very quickly in this series, particularly on the short tracks. This being one of the shortest tracks of the season in terms of time, only a 1 minute 25, and that's in the GT3s. So the prototypes, I imagine they're going to be close to the 1 minute 40s, maybe a bit quicker than that. There's quite a big speed differential between these classes. 21 drivers have set times in the GT3s at the moment. And it's still the 3, as we mentioned, at the top of the standings: Pachauka, Bennyworth and Kruger. No Gavin Gardner this week, I've noticed, and he had a good time last time at Silverstone, so it's a bit of a shame not to see him tonight. But I imagine there are actually a fair few drivers who are at Le Mans. I did see one in the Discord. I'll see if I can find out who it is quickly. Who's at Le Mans this week? Oh, Matthew Cheverton. There we go. He's at Le Mans this weekend. Lucky boy. Yeah, that's definitely on the bucket list at the moment. See if we can turn up this one. There we go. We'll swap mics for tonight. Apologies if you could barely hear me for the majority of that then. Tried out a new microphone and it doesn't seem to be working out, so I'll have to work on that. Okay, but that should be better. It's back to round about what it was last week. But thank you to Katie for letting me know that. Okay, so we're heading towards the latter part of the GT3 qualifying. And drivers that have put themselves in the running at the moment: Ruben Pino and Stephen de Gravelia in 3rd and 4th have put in good times to get themselves off the bottom of the standings, shall we say, and put themselves into those upper positions. Ruben Pino had a really good debut last time out at Silverstone. 2nd place in category, so not a bad start at all, and we'll see how he gets on tonight. 3rd at the moment in qualifying, not bad at all. Ben Bennyworth and Jeffrey Kruger, 7th and 8th overall, but 1st and 1st in silver and bronze respectively. And I did mention a while ago, there he is on the track, Gavin Gardner wasn't racing. I am wrong. There he is racing tonight. So apologies, Gavin, if you are listening either live or not live. Drivers will do their last 1 or 2 laps. A couple of drivers in the pits, Andy Rooney being one of them. He seems satisfied with what he's done with 2nd place. Just a 10th off of Kruger. That actually puts him in good stead for the race. Jochen Seeger is in the pits. Elwin Sykes, Eric Sivertson, and Andy Chell. Andy Chell is bottom at the bronze at the moment, so not a great start to the night for him, unfortunately. Pachauka top of the golds, though. Not quite half a second this time. It usually is. Come on, Carol, pull your finger out. But, yeah, you would expect these gold drivers will be looking at Karel Pachauka and his dominance this season, and racers be racers, they wouldn't be having that. They would be putting in the hours, potentially, to get themselves up to the pace of Pachauka. They're all on fixed setups, remember, ladies and gentlemen, which means they're all driving within each manufacturer. They're all driving the same setup. It does kind of vary from round to round. Certain tracks will have high downforce setups and certain tracks will have low downforce setups. But yeah, effectively they're not allowed to tinker with the car. They're not allowed to change ride height, tyre pressures, nothing like that. They are given the car as is, and actually they're not allowed to change the traction control and ABS, which are normally in-car adjustments. They're not allowed to change them either. A bit of a change here in the GT3 Gold standings. Jesse Payne-Wilkins puts himself to the 2nd place position in category, and that'll be a front row start in the GT3s for him. And with this being a long straight, if he can get a good bump on the start, he might be able to get the better of Pachauka going into turn 1. It's going to be a very important position to be in, his 2nd place, actually. And the drivers will ease off. They'll head into the pits very, very shortly. Evening, Andy Rooney in the comments there. Good qualifying from you, Andy. 2nd place. Good job, mate. Kawari in his debut, 4th place at the moment in the golds, and in a brand new car as well. Bear in mind it only got released a couple of days ago, so really not much practice to this car for many of these drivers, and already a livery on the car from Full Tilt, as well as the Crest Autosport machine of Nigel Stock as we saw earlier. I'm going to see if I can get Nigel on screen as much as I can without being accused of bias. But yeah, it's a lovely looking car. Front engine car with a very... I'm going to use girthy front end on that car, because it's huge front end, and it's a bit, I suppose, a bit like the BMW. I mean, the BMW's a bit taller, but the Mustang's a very great looking car, and it sounds awesome as well, particularly inside the car. I drove it yesterday around Watkins Glen, and yeah, really liked this addition to iRacing. Pachauka crosses the line, and he actually goes half a second quicker than Payne-Wilkins, so he must have been listening to me. He must have thought, I'll listen to our commentator and I'll go half a second quicker. That's very nice of him, isn't it? The prototypes are out on the track, and they're already starting their flying laps. So let's see if we can get ourselves and on board, and we will, with our championship leader, Max de Leiden, heading into turn number 1. Right-hander, then a sweeping left-hander here, right-hander here, and it's very difficult braking zone, particularly in a prototype, or especially in a prototype. Turn 4 here, but we don't head to the right like we did in the old days of Formula 1. It's a little chicane here, flat out, even in these prototypes, and let's see how fast these cars can go down these straights. 179 miles per hour heading into turn number 7 then. Tiptoeing through this chicane here. It is a very quick lap. It absolutely flies by, and there's very few opportunities and heavy braking zones, so very few opportunities to improve your lap time. It's all got to be done through your speed, through the corners. Heading into the final complex here. Short shifting to second.
as you notice, and that's to stop the rear wheels spinning so much and to help the drivers maintain control of the car better. And yes, 10 seconds quicker it's looking than the GT3s. Let's see how fast Deleden goes down this main straight here. 186 we got to then. But so yeah, fantastic speeds from these prototypes on this circuit. Paul Williams at the top of the standings at the moment. We are seeing them dribble in at the moment, these prototypes. I mean, the other thing about this track, I suppose, which is a little bit different to Mugello and potentially Silverstone, give or take, this track can encourage you to go over track limits on some of these corners. They're quite big curbs as well, particularly this one here. You can cut quite a lot of that curb going into turn number 10. It's probably not as bad when it comes to track limit infringements as, say, yeah, Aragon. That was a particularly difficult circuit. Yes, Andy, I did use that term. Yes, it's the only term I could think of, and I think it's a rather fitting one, actually. Andy in the YouTube comments there live on the live chat. So, just to round off the GT3s as we head further into the prototypes qualifying here. Top of the standings for each of them. Pole positions for each of the categories. Pachalka is at the top of the golds. Bennyworth top of the silvers. And Kruger top of the bronzes. I guess Bennyworth has achieved his first pole position of the season, which gets him a bonus 2 points. Ben McCluskey puts himself to the top of the standings. And if you remember me saying, if you could even hear me say it, Ben McCluskey, Guthrie and Williams were very close to one another in practice. So expect similar here in qualifying, and there is not much time between them. Just over a quarter of a second between McCluskey and Williams at the moment, and they've still got some times to set. And remember, with these prototypes, they'll have recharge laps and they'll have full power laps, and that's the modes they can switch within the car on the settings. Is they can have race mode, qualifying mode, and recharge mode, and I think there may be another that I'm probably forgetting. Andy Rooney in the comments here, let's have a look. Off tracks are more lenient, but if you do get one, the slowdowns are mental. Yeah, I do remember that actually from racing at Indianapolis. If you the track limits are quite lenient here. You can go over, particularly coming out of the chicane, turns 5 and 6. But I guess when you do go over the track limits, it punishes you quite hard, and that tends to be the case with tracks like this. So drivers got to be careful about that. Sean Shute in 4th position. Of the CSA team, and of course his teammate Stefan Wessels won last week, and I don't see Wessels in the server at the moment. Is he racing tonight? I don't think he is. Bit of a shame. But Sean Shute waving the flag for the prototypes in CSA at the moment. Not too far off of the rivals in front of him, and he's ahead of Max Deleden. And in the silvers, Diego Sa, who has won a big batch of races so far this season. 3 in a row he's on at the moment, and he is top of the standings so far in the silvers. Frustrating, I imagine, for Paul Williams is he's second in the championship, and I suppose it's similar with the GT3 golds. You'd just be kicking yourself like, come on, I've got to be as quick as that person at the front there. I've got to be as quick, and it can be quite frustrating. Been in that situation as a sim racer many times. The quick one, that is, of course. Okay, we have got just over 5 minutes remaining in the qualifying session here. We are going straight into the sprint race after this, which is a 20-minute race, remember. So quite a short race when it comes down to endurance, multi-class, sports car type racing. but it's nice to get a little bit of change. We've got a good variance of race lengths within this championship. 20-minute sprint races, 1 hour or 60-minute feature races, and other events this season are 2-hour endurances. So a good diverse range of race lengths across this season, putting many different skills of the drivers to the test. Sprint racing is just out and out pace, no need for strategies or anything like that. It's just about beating your competitors, whereas the feature race is about timing your pit stops, usually the one pit stop you have. And the endurance races, well, we saw lots of strategies going on, particularly with the GT3s last time out, as there's more pit stops. With it being a longer race. That's a very good point, actually, Andy. And yes, Nigel, I will do my best. I've already mentioned that I've got to try and get the camera on you as much as I can without being biased towards your livery. But yes, Andy, you've made a very good point in the comments there, in the chat there. It's going to be frustrating for these prototypes in certain corners on this track, because it is the same in any form of motorsport, and I was going to mention this earlier, but I got myself interrupted by something. But turns 7 to 10, we'll see if we can find a driver that's in those corners at the moment. So let's take a look to Ben McCluskey's heading into turn 7 now. 7 is the last real opportunity to overtake until the final part of the lap, really, as it's incredibly difficult to make a lunge on someone through these corners, particularly in those prototypes, because there's just not enough time between those corners to make a move. So, overtaking is going to be tricky tonight. It's going to be all about getting a good slipstream and good hybrid deployment, I suppose, down the two main straights on this track, and making a late braking move into corners like turn 1 and turn 7. So it's going to be interesting, very, very interesting. Yeah, and of course they overtaking the GT3s is going to be very interesting indeed. The patience of a prototype driver is one of the finest skills they can have, and you know, the age-old argument, as we mention every round, GT3 drivers arguing with prototypes, prototype drivers arguing with GT3 drivers, always happens. That's just part of iRacing multi-class racing. Right, back to qualifying as we head into the final part of the session. McCluskey is topping the standings at the moment from Guthrie, just over a tenth ahead. Guthrie is heading out of a DNF at Silverstone, as we mentioned. On the first lap of the race, he retired with heavy damage due to an incident at the very start of the race. I guess the difference with this track here, not saying that Guthrie's going to do that again, that's not what I'm saying, of course not, but with heading into turn 1 on this track, it's it does narrow from a very long straight into a very tight corner, so it's going to be interesting to see those prototypes getting through those first 2 corners, and that's why I mentioned with Payne Wilkins getting himself into second in the GT3s, starting on the front row here is very important, because you're right in amongst the crowd, and where 3 wide situations happen, going from the long straight into the narrow corners of turn 1 and turn 2, it's going to be a bit interesting. So Guthrie charging up the battery here, I think. And he'll go for one last blast for that pole position. Guthrie and McCluskey are near half a second clear of Gaz Williams. And in the silvers, Diego Sá is very comfortable with 3.5 tenths clear of Paul Williams. He's got Delayden for company ahead of him. There's a bit of a slipstream. Looks to be on a flyer, does Diego Sá at the moment. So let's see what he gets. That didn't look like an improvement, actually. So maybe going for it again. We got McCluskey back here, going through the final section, and just a bit further up is Gaz Williams. We'll see if this is an improvement. And it wasn't. It was a fairly slow lap, so he might have been charging up his battery. We've got Guthrie here, heading into the final part of the lap. Green sectors at the moment, that's compared to McCluskey. Not many drivers on the track at the moment, and it's actually the top 3 in the golds, plus Diego Sa, who's first in the silvers. And Guthrie looks to have aborted that then. He has. No, he hadn't. He hadn't. He did go for it. So he came close to the wall then. I'm not quite sure why. I wonder if he thinks that's a quicker way through. But he did go quicker, only by half a tenth, but it keeps him second. Gaz Williams and McCluskey is still going. McCluskey must be just a little bit tentative about Gaz Williams' pace. Let's take a look. Oh, no, Williams is not going to go quicker. He's going backwards into the wall there, pushing it potentially out of the final corner. So there we go. That will seal it for McCluskey. Even though Gaz Williams is his teammate, he might be somewhat relieved to have seen that then. Of course, knowing that you can repair your car quite quickly in iRacing. And that seals pole position for him. So we'll head into the sprint race next, and we'll show you the grid for the first race of the night. So remember, it is a 20-minute sprint race coming up, and then we'll have a break, and we'll come back with the feature race, which will be reverse grids of each category, full reverse grids of each category. But the top of the standings in each of the categories. McCluskey tops the golds, Sa at the top of the silvers, Pachauka the GT3 golds, Ben Bennyworth the silvers, and it was Kruger at the top of the bronzes. But here is the grid format for round 4, the sprint race here at Indianapolis. Ben McCluskey on pole position from William Guthrie in second. Gaz Williams will line up third with Sean Shute in 4th position. Max Deleden in 5th position with pole position of the silvers, Diego Sa. Ruiz Suarez in 7th position with Paul Williams in the silvers alongside. Paul Williams is right behind his rival in the silvers. Hugo Silva in 9th position with Jamie Dory in 10th position. Nathan Healy 3rd at the silvers, 11th with Jorge Bentes alongside him. Dwayne Hoffman in 13th place with Wesley Lewin in 14th. And now onto the GT3s. Kara Pachauka, pole position yet again. That's 4 from 4 for him in the GT3s. Jesse Payne Wilkins in 16th and 2nd of the GT3s. Ben Alcher in 17th with Kerr Worry in 19th position. Edwin Forsland in 19th position with Gavin Gardner in 20th. The pole position of the silvers and the bronzes are on the 11th row here, with Ben Bennyworth of the silvers in 21st, 22nd of the bronzes, Jeffrey Kruger. Edwin Simpson in 23rd with Alan McCain in 24th. Andy Rooney, 2nd of the bronzes, 25th on the grid, with Phil McDougall alongside him. Nigel Stock in the Mustang tonight, 27th position with Miles Owens in 28th. Ruben Pino in 29th with Jochen Seeger in 30th. Stephen de Gravelia and Elwyn Sykes, both bronze drivers, on the 16th row. Matt Emmons, first race of the season tonight in 33rd with Eric Sivertson, also a debutant, here there in 34th. Andy Chell is 35th with Ian Manners in 36th. Kevin Smith makes it to the grid just in time in 37th, and Russ Fowler 38th. As the pace car makes its way off of the back straight here in Indianapolis, it's always short runs to the start line. As we watch Ben McCluskey make his way round. And of course there's always a gap between the prototypes and the GT3s, as you can see back here. There was a slightly bigger gap last time out at Silverstone. There seems to have gone back to the 5-second gap between them for this week. Prototypes will move their cars around to try and warm up the tyres, ready for this 20-minute sprint race. And we'll head through. The pace car will peel off. They'll have to stay in their positions and stay at pace car speed until the lights go green. This is round 4, the first race of the night here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Next Gen Racing Multi-Class League. Prototypes will start very soon, and then the GT3s not long after. The lights will go green and we'll get underway. There we go, down on the power straightaway. It looked like a good start from Max to lead them further back here, making it a 4 wide as we head down towards turn number 1. And we can see on the outside there, Guthrie had a good run, and also Sean Shute down the middle there, and he gets himself into 3rd place at the moment with Max leading alongside. Very good start from those drivers. Meanwhile, the GT3s are making their way through turns 1 and 2. Let's see if they get through safely. We've got Jesse Payne-Wilkins on the inside there. On the outside there, he's getting overtaken by various amounts of cars there. He's down to 4th place in the category at the moment, as Gavin Garden, we saw, took a swing to the outside there to avoid Ben Bennyworth, and on Ben Bennyworth's outside is Edwin Simpson as well, as we head towards turn number 7. Gardner's on the inside. They are trying to get through very conservatively here, that's got to be said. As we see Alan McCain there now on the inside of one of the CSA cars. They're all giving each other a lot of racing room here. They might be in words from the stewards that have really made them take action on this for this week. As they head round the speedway, side by side between these two. Good little battle here. We'll stick with it at the moment. Simpson and McCain side by side, and it looks like McCain is just going to get himself in front. And I'm trying to get back to the prototypes, but we have a very messed up timing standings at the moment. It's in a weird order. Let's see if we can get it back. There we go. McCluskey, 2nd position, so there was a pass between him and Guthrie. Let's see if we can get a replay of it. Might not have captured it actually, but a change of lead for the prototypes. Guthrie is in front of McCluskey. We've got a very, very odd timing standings at the moment. We'll see if we can refresh it, but it's put Guthrie in 24th at the moment, which is obviously not right. And 3rd in category, which is obviously not right. There we go, it's starting to sort itself out, and we've got a little battle back here. That's Gaz Williams and Hugo Silva. Hugo Silva at the full tilt car. To the outside he goes on Gaz Williams. Heading into turn 1, Gaz Williams a little later on the brakes, and he's got the inside line, so he's able to cover off turn number 2 there, and he gets himself, remains himself in front of Hugo Silva for the moment. Max Delina had a really good first lap, a really good start off the line, got himself into 3rd place after probably a below par qualifying for his own standards, should we say, but gets himself in a good position here. Pachauka, already a stretchy lead in the GT3s here. Over a 2nd ahead of Ben Altria and Edwin Forsland in 3rd position here. 3 places gained from the start there, so a good start for him. Bennyworth is in 1st of the Silvers at the moment. He's got a 3-second lead, very commanding at the moment. As we said earlier, it's a great opportunity for Bennyworth to get good championship points tonight ahead of his rivals who are not racing tonight, and that's Jake Pitt and Matthew Cheverton. Kruger is ahead, but in the bronze category, and he's 6 seconds clear at the moment. Back towards the top of the standings in the prototypes. McCluskey be very keen to get that top spot back from Guthrie. I'll keep scrolling, see if I can find that move between them, which decided the change of lead here. And we can see it here, actually. In fact, this was lap 1, so we'll stay with them for a little bit through this lap 1, and we saw the 4 wide there, and very late braking from Sean Shute, and he very narrowly avoided William Guthrie there. But yeah, there we go, we saw William Guthrie actually get past on turn 2 there. He actually had a good start off the line, and that meant he could stay on the inside for turn 2 and complete the move. Well, there was a car in the pits then. Let's see if we can see who that was. That was Andy Chell in the silvers. He's in the pits, and I wonder if he's had an incident. Doesn't seem to have. Okay, so it might be a fast repair being taken by Andy Chell there. Not a good start to the night for him. So Jesse Payne-Wilkins, not a great start to the race. Was second, down to 4th now, and has dropped off a little bit from Ben Alcher and Edwin Forsland, both of which are fairly close here. And they'll be keen not to let Karol Pachałka get away, and I say this quite often. As we head onto the speedway to start another lap. And something to also remember, the prototypes are on their way towards the back of the GT3 crowd, and this is the point in the race. They are quite close together, all the GT3s, which means it's going to be even more difficult for those prototypes to pass them. They're not too far away. In fact, they are going to catch them in the next couple of laps here. So let's just stay with McCluskey and Guthrie just to see how this materializes between them. As they ease up towards Elwyn Sykes, the first of the GT3s they'll have to pass. So there we go, nicely timed by Guthrie to get himself around the outside, and now McCluskey has to get himself around the outside during a corner, which is always difficult to do in prototypes with them being so agile and nimble. Max to lead them back here as well, hunting down the top 2 in category. We've got Diego Sá 4th overall, and he is a long way clear of fellow silver drivers. Hugo Bentes will be next, but the timing stand... No, Paul Williams is next, but the timing standing is struggling to find the silvers at the moment. Oh, look at this. Whoa, ducking and diving around the GT3s here is William Guthrie, and he narrowly avoided Steve de Gravelli here to the inside of, I believe, that was Ruben Pino he was passing there. And Ben McCluskey's getting well held up here, and it's not the fault of the GT3s. They're just going through the corners they normally do. But this is what happens with the prototypes. They get split up so easily, and I did say that this was going to be a bit of a dark horse round, where this is actually quite a tricky track to overtake, and it's quite short. A little bit unconventional when it comes to endurance racing like this, but it certainly is a good driver's track. Let's give the GT3s a little bit of fuss here. Karol Pachałka is 2.5 seconds clear of Ben Alcher now, and it's still fairly close between Alcher and Forsland. They're breaking away from Kewari on his debut, and he has managed to get himself past Jesse Payne-Wilkins. See if we can capture that. No, we can't see into... Yes, we can. There we go. Pass for P17. So there we go. Kewari's in the cyan coloured car, and it's a full tilt car of Jesse Payne-Wilkins as well, of course. And this would be down the main straight, so going to guard the inside, that might have been a slowdown. Either that or Jesse Payne-Wilkins said, you know what, you're quicker, I'll let you through. Could have been a slowdown as well. In the bronze category, Jeffrey Kruger, as you can see Guthrie heading around the outside of him. Kruger's doing very well. He's actually 6th overall of the GT3. He's got Gavin Gardner behind him, and McCluskey getting held up again. Well, I say held up, he just can't. He's just catching these GT3s at exactly the wrong time. And Max de Leeden has dropped off a little bit as well. So this track is really proving difficult for the prototypes, with it not being many opportunities to make their way past these GT3s on such tight corners. And over to the Silvers, Benny went, oh, a big spin there from one of the prototypes. Was that Deleden? It was. Max Deleden has gone into the barriers and he's got no rear wing. Here it is again. He goes to the outside of Gardner and then to the inside. No. Oh, he tried going around the outside of one of the CSA drivers, and they must have not realised Max Deleden was going through then. And that has really ruined things for Max Deleden. He's going to have to go in the pits. He doesn't. He's carrying on. With no rear wing, it's going to be very difficult to handle, and he's still making his way down the main straight here. And that is game over in this race pretty much for Max Deleden. He went to the outside and he was hoping he could wriggle his way through, basically, and yeah, the two cars came together. This is what we were just talking about. It's difficult for the prototypes. They've got to really judge their overtakes right. If you saw Diego Saar making a move on, I believe that was Jesse Payne Wilkins just then. Into the outside again. And the thing is, the prototypes would probably prefer to go outside there because they turn the wheel a little bit less and it puts a bit less load on the wheels. But the GT3 cars, generally their characteristic is they like unloading during the exit of a corner. So it's quite conflicting actually, that corner we're seeing there, turn 11, where both cars want to go to the outside of the track. With Max Deleden having to take a repair in the pits. Oh, Hugo Silva, I was going to say he is third, but he's just gone off the track there. This might let through Gaz Williams into third place, and Hugo Silva will have to serve a slowdown. There is Gaz Williams, not far behind, and he has got the Mustang ahead of him of Kerr Worry, and he's trying to get past the Scotsman, is Gaz Williams, and Hugo Silva will have got rid of his slowdown penalty already. We've got an incident a bit further back. Phil McDougall, he's running slow in the CXR car there, and there might have been involvement with Miles Owens there. So here we go. We're heading into turn number 4 here. Oh, a move to the inside, and didn't quite make it. So late on the brakes there was the number 34 car. Couldn't quite get it turned enough. And went into the back of Phil McDougall. And I assume with the car that hit McDougall then, they straight away stopped and let McDougall carry on in front of them. Normally what that suggests to me is it's an apology. And it's just the courteous thing to sort of say, sorry, I've messed up, you go on ahead. I imagine that was just a case that they didn't expect the braking point of the car in front. And it's just that. So Gaz Williams here, right behind Rui Soares here. It was Hugo Silva, but he seems to have dropped behind. Oh, side by side here between Gaz Williams and Soares, and couldn't quite make it. There was a little bit of a kerfuffle a little bit further back, and we'll take a look at that very shortly. Close between these at the moment. In fact, we'll take a quick look at it now. We've got Jamie Dory involved in this battle as well. So this is it. Gaz Williams making a move on Rui Soares, and then would have got him back. And that was what we just seen. So is there something further back? Yes, there was. So it's a bit further back here. This is heading into turn 1, and this is following the backmouse, and this is the incident we just saw. Oh, look at that. Gaz Williams just about given enough room on the inside there to Rui Soares. They're battling hard, and Gaz Williams held up by the GT3. And as they head on to the main straight there, Suarez is able to blast away, and Silva all over the rear of Gaz Williams. Back to this battle. Oh, it is still raging on between them, and actually he's made his way past Suarez and into the third spot. Heading down the main straight there, Gaz Williams following in the slipstream. Rui Suarez up ahead, and he goes wide at turn 1, brakes too late. Gaz Williams takes to the outside in turn 2, and he'll complete the move into turn 3 and 4 there. So Williams into the third spot. Good points for him. He may be a long way off of Guthrie and McCluskey up the front. And because these lot have been battling quite intensely, as Jamie Dory is now on the inside of Hugo Silva, heading into turn number 12, backs out of it. Not quite confident on the brakes to complete the move there. But these four close together battling for gold status on the podium. For gold category on the podium, shall I say. And these are the last of the runners in the gold category. Sean Shute has retired. And lots of GT3 cars scattered around as we saw a little bit of contact between Santos and Rui Suarez there. Very difficult for these prototypes to navigate their way around the GT3s because the prototypes are actually so difficult to switch the direction of them quickly. And they split the Verano Motorsport GT3 there. Dory's looking to the inside of Hugo Silva, can't quite make it. Such a good battle this, and Dory's looking in all the opportunities, all the most opportunistic moments, should we say, to overtake, and can't quite make it through. But he seems very eager to get in front, but wants to do it in the right place, wants to do it at the right time. Jamie Dory here is a multiple next-gen touring car champion and the admin of that league. He knows his way around the track on iRacing. The front of these golds still between McCluskey and Guthrie, but there's 2.5 seconds between them. Silvers is headed by Diogo Sá, who's third overall in the prototypes. And he's a long way clear. And second place in category at the moment is Dwayne Hoffman. What a race he's having at the moment. 5 places gained from the start and 3 within category. He's ahead of Paul Williams at the moment, who's second in the championship. So good points for him. But Dwayne Hoffman having a great race at the moment. He's third in the championship heading into tonight. So this is very good for him. Dwayne Hoffman, who got married during the week. So big congratulations to him. To the GT3s. Pachauka leads by 4 seconds from Altria, who's still battling with Forsland here. And there's not long left in this race. Very quick race indeed. It flies by. Ben Bennyworth in first of the silvers, and actually we are just spotted with the bronzes. Jeffrey Kruger's down in 8th place. So what has happened to him? Something major must have happened to him. Damage on the car, not visible. But of the bronzes, it is Stephen de Gravelia leading the way at the moment. And this would be a first win for him if he can complete it. Jeffrey Kruger went in the pits. And it's not all that clear why. Here it is. No, it's not letting us see it. So we won't be able to find out what happens to Jeffrey Kruger, which is a bit of a shame. But that'll put an end to his streak. 4 in a row heading into tonight. The only round he didn't win was round 1. Sprint race at Mugello. And this will be a first win for Stephen de Gravelia, if he can complete it. Eric Sievertson is in 2nd place, and he's the closest rival to Gravelia. On his debut, this is a very, very good result for him, indeed. So Guthrie at the front here. Back to winning ways for him, it seems. 2 seconds clear from McCluskey, and did it on the first few corners of the race here. course, there was no doubt that he was able to do this tonight. Oh, as we've got an instant further back. Oh, it is in the GT3s. Ben Altra is involved. Oh, and that was very lucky to avoid Guthrie coming through there. We have to switch to Guthrie, as this may well be the checkered flag. We'll see it in the top left. In fact, it should be. Makes his way around. And it is. Sprint race win for William Guthrie. Back to winning ways here at Indianapolis. He takes the win in the sprint race here of the Prototype Golds. Next through will be Diogo Sa. Another win in the silvers. Although he missed round 1, there will be drop rounds, and he will get his time at the top of the standings eventually. He takes the win in the silvers. Pachalka will be next to come through. I'm just going to check. It'll be Stephen de Gravelia to come through next. And that's a bronze win for Stephen de Gravelia. His first of the season. Big congratulations to him. Ben Bennyworth, I believe he has finished actually. And he takes a win in the silvers. And I think it's his first of the season. Pachalka will be the last winner to come through. And it'll be another win for him. Another maximum points, I believe, as well, as he will undoubtedly have the fastest time. He does. So it's another maximum points race for Pachalka. He wins in the GT3 Golds. And that's 6 wins in a row for him. Well, quite a few dramas in that race, actually. I'm keen to find out what happened to Jeffrey Kruger. I really am unsure what happened to him in that race. We did have an incident towards the end of that race that I want to see again. This is Jorge Bentes. Oops, excuse me. And this is... Oh, there's a spin there. And Ben Altria was not involved. So Ben Altria must have done it spun on his own accord. Of course, Ben Altria was battling with Edwin Simpson, Forsland. And of course, that... yeah, there we go. Trying to chase back Forsland. Couldn't quite do it. I think overpowered a little bit. But this is the overtake from Forsland. It should have been, anyway. They were quite close together, actually. Let's head back here and see if we can watch the change for second place in the GT3 Golds. Good exit at the final corner from Forsland to the inside of Altria. Heading towards turn number 1. Oh, near contact for them two there. Not a whole lot Altria could really do about that, because Forsland had a really good run and was on the inside. But it does mean that Kerwari, due to the spin from Altria, finished 3rd on his debut in the GT3 Golds there. So good job from Kerwari there. So we'll go to the results here, but we'll start with the Prototype Golds. William Guthrie takes the win in the Golds for this sprint race. Just shy of 3 seconds clear of Ben McCluskey in second position. Gaz Williams in third position from Rui Soares. Very close finish between them two. Just 300ths between them as they came across the line. Jamie Dory in fifth position with Hugo Silva in sixth. A good battle between those four from third to sixth throughout the race. Sean Shute and Max DeLeeden DNFs for them. On to the silvers. It is a win for Diogo Sa and a long way clear of Paul Williams. Paul Williams eventually making the overtake on Dwayne Hoffman. We'll see if we can go back and take a look at that. But it is second and third for them two drivers in that order. Wesley Lewin in fourth position from Nathan Healy. And Jorge Bentes a lap down. I think he did finish that race in the end, but he may have come into the pits. Onto the GT3 Golds. Karol Pachalka in first position. and he was 7.6 seconds clear of Edwin Forsland, who had that last lap battle with Ben Altria, as we saw. And on the podium for Kerwari in 3rd position, and although a lot of drivers there, it says they're 1 lap down, they actually it's actually because they got passed by the leaders before the checkered flag. So they are finishers, the majority of them. Jesse Payne-Wilkins being the first of them in 4th there. Ben Altria in 5th. Gavin Gardner 6th. Edwin Simpson 7th. Alan McCain in 8th. Ian Manners 9th. And 10th is Miles Owens. And a DNF for Russ Fowler. On to the Silvers. A win for Ben Bennyworth in this relatively small crowd in the Silvers tonight. Nigel Stock in his first race in the Mustang takes 2nd position with Phil McDougall in 3rd. Jochen Seeger in 4th with Matt Emmons rounding off the finishes in 5th. And on to the Bronzes. It's a first win for Stephen de Gravelia in the Bronzes. Just shy of 3 seconds clear of debutant tonight, Eric Sivertsen. Elwyn Sykes takes 3rd position, 2nd place in the standings for him heading into tonight, so a good result for him. Ruben Pino in 4th position with Andy Rooney in 5th. A lap or more down for Andy Chell, Kevin Smith and Jeffrey Kruger, our championship leader heading into tonight. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen, that was the sprint race. We'll see if we can take a look to some of the overtakes that happened towards the end of that race. Just because we do have a fairly lengthy break here, we'll see if we can take a look at some notable replays. And I want to see the change in position between Paul Williams and Dwayne Hoffman, because they were fairly close for 2nd position in the Silvers. Let's see if I can find it here. This might well be it. Paul Williams with a big dive to the inside heading into turn number 12. And it's going to clonk out on us at that point. And they're still battling here as they head onto the speedway. And Paul Williams looked like he had a good amount of hybrid on the straight there as well. But we'll cut that there. And let me see if I can have a little scroll through to see if we can see what happened to bronze driver Jeffrey Kruger, because I couldn't quite find it during the race then. I did see Jeffrey Kruger go into the pits, so it'd be nice to see if. Oh yeah, we couldn't see it. That's what the problem was. Yeah, there's absolutely nothing in the events. The events that's showing us anything happening to Jeffrey Kruger. So that's going to remain a mystery. Cameramen couldn't pick it up. This is a bit of a shame. One of the other more notable incidents of the race was Max de Leiden. No rear wing, as you saw there, and this is him heading past some of the GT3s there. And he managed to get his nose just about in front. As we go here, we'll go to quarter speed. You can see he's heading through a fairly sizable gap there, but the Ferrari car is already hanging its way over, and eventually the gap is closed. And the leader nearly got through. He really, really nearly got through. It'd be one for the stewards. It'd be down to them to say, no, Max, the gap wasn't there, shouldn't have gone through it. Or it'd be down to the other driver, which was back there, the other driver, which was Jeffrey Kruger, who I'm told may have had a disconnection. But yeah, it may be down to Max Verstappen, where they say, no, you shouldn't have gone through that gap, it wasn't a very good place to overtake. Or they may put it down to Kruger to say, no, you should have given Max Verstappen some room. I don't know. I don't know which of the two they'll put it down to. I'm not the steward of this championship. That was one of the more notable incidents of the race, it's got to be said. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to head to a break now. that was the sprint race, and we're heading into the feature race next. It'll be a 1 hour race, there will be pit stops, and we're here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for this round 4 of the championship. Don't go away, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back very soon. Welcome back, everyone. We're in the practice session here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Next Gen Racing Multi-Class League. Feature race coming up next very shortly in about 4 minutes' time. So we've got a little bit of housekeeping to do before we get things underway. This is the Multi-Class League, as we mentioned. Realistic weather is involved in this series, but we haven't yet had rain. But tonight there is a possibility we can get some. It is fairly blue sky with a few black clouds above us here at Indianapolis. But yeah, I think the rain might just about keep away from us. We are waiting for the round that we do get it, but it is summer at the moment, so we've got to manage our expectations a little bit with this. So tonight we're on a sprint race and feature race format. We've just done the 20-minute sprint race, but we've got the 60-minute feature race coming up next. We will see pit stops during that. All drivers should only need one stop. Should. There are prototype 1s, the LMDH or GTPs, as some people call it, and the GT3 cars in this series. You can still sign up if you wish to. I believe there's a little bit of a discount on those entry fees for drivers who are entering either part-time or late. So just inquire to Next Gen Racing on whatever social media platform you are on. There is also a Discord you can join. You'll be able to get access to that via the social media platforms, of course. And just lastly, a bit of a shout out to the sponsors and affiliates and partners of Next Gen Racing. That include Benji Sim Photos, Mark Sykes Designs, Higgins Automotive, Power Max Racing, Motorsport UK Esports Division, Sam Cases, Joyce Design, Douglas Motorsport and IMB Racewear. This is the calendar we're undergoing for this championship, a 10-round season which started off at the end of May and is going to take us to the start of August. We started off all them weeks ago at Mugello circuit in the heart of Italy. Then we ventured west to the Motorland Aragon circuit in Spain. We went north to the UK, for my home circuit, Silverstone GP, for the first of 3 2-hour endurances of the season. We're here this week at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course, and we'll be back in 2 weeks from today. We've got a week off next week, but we'll be back 2 weeks from today at Road Atlanta, which is an iconic circuit for prototype racing and GT3 racing nowadays. Of course, it hosts the Petit Le Mans race every autumn. Sebring will be round 6 of the season and be the second of the 2-hour endurances. Algarve, aka Portimao, will host round 7 of the championship. Spa-Francorchamps, iconic circuit, round 8 of the championship, round about the same time as Spa 24, so quite fitting. Imola will host round 9, and the final round will be at Le Mans, which of course the 24 Hours of Le Mans is this weekend. My money is on Porsche winning that, but we'll be doing a 2-hour endurance there on the 1st of August, so looking forward to that very much. Just over a minute away from the feature race here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You can see the dark clouds in the distance there. There's a lot of sunlight peeking through those, so I think we're going to be okay for rain at the moment. We are still waiting for wet weather to hit us. Yeah, just as I say that, Andy Rooney saying, if Silverstone stays dry, anywhere can. Yeah, you are right, yeah. That was probably the benchmark with Silverstone for the weather for the season. But who knows, we might get some wet weather at Road Atlanta. Who knows? Who knows? And I think forecasts are saying for us UK resis, it's going to be the wettest summer for about 100 years or something like that, which is a rather depressing thing to hear. But we are here at Indianapolis, and therefore we'll go through the grid for this final race of the night. Remember, it's reverse grids for each of the categories of the results from the last race. So Sean Shute will start on pole position for the prototypes, and he'll have Hugo Silva alongside. Jamie Dory will start 3rd position with Rui Soares in 4th position. Gaz Williams 5th from Ben McCluskey in 6th. William Guthrie in 7th and Max Deline in 8th. I should mention it is reverse grid of the qualifying results, so I stand corrected there. In 9th and 1st of the Silvers will be Jorge Bentes, with Nathan Healy in the 10th position, Wesley Lewin in 11th place with Dwayne Hoffman in 12th, Paul Williams 13th with Diego Sa, the race 1 winner, in 14th. Miles Owens will start 15th with Ian Manners in 16th, Alan McCain in 17th, Edwin Simpson 18th. 10th row taken up by Gavin Gardner and Ben Altria, Jesse Payne Wilkins and Kerr Worry into the 11th row. And the final cars of the golds will be Edwin Forsland and Karol Pachałka, our race 1 winner. Of the silvers in GT3s, Matt Emmons will be on the pole position in that category. We're just going to switch over to the prototypes here as they get underway for their rolling lap. Jochen Seeger in 26th with Phil McDougall in 27th. Nigel Stock will line up 28th, and Ben Bennyworth, the race 1 winner, will start 29th. Jeffrey Kruger will start 30th with Kevin Smith in 31st and Andy Chell in 32nd. 33rd will start Andy Rooney with Ruben Pino in 34th. Erwin Sykes in 35th. 36th will be Eric Sivertson, and Stephen de Gravelia will start last as he won in the bronzes. So I'm a little bit confused now because there was Max de Leiden was at the back of the golds, but he didn't win in the golds, so I'm struggling a little bit with that format. But hey, the grid is what the grid is, and we'll still get some good racing. So Sean Shute will lead us to the green flag for our 1-hour feature race. As I mentioned, there will be pit stops as the pace car, safety car peels off. They have to maintain safety car speed until the lights turn green, which is when they get quite far down this start-finish straight here. The GT3s are quite a long way back this time compared to the previous race. Alan McCain leading them towards the line. Here we go. Shoot is away and ducking out of the traffic already was William Guthrie and Max DeLeeden as we head down the main straight here towards turn number 1. On the outside, Hugo Silva has had a very good start, but to the inside goes Sean Shute, and 3 wide heading into turn number 1 as Guthrie is to the inside of Jamie Dory, and on the outside here turn 2, but Jamie Dory takes a half spin there, and the GT3s are now coming through further back here. And they're making their way through fairly safely here. We've got Karol Pachalka right in the middle there on the inside of the Mustang here. But of the first runners of the GT3s, Gavin Gardner is there. But there's a couple of GT3s just up ahead. So the prototypes here. Our timing screen is a little bit skewed at the moment. It seems to struggle with Indianapolis, it seems. But it's Sean Shute at the top. William Guthrie with a brilliant start, gets himself from near the back of his category towards the front already, so he really does mean business, and he put his car in exactly the right place to make those moves on this opening lap here. End of the first lap, Sean Shute leads, but for how long? It's got to be said that Guthrie is going to be coming for that top spot. One lap complete of the GT3s. Miles Owens leads of them. Oh, and there's a spin. There is a spin back there. That's Alan McCain. Takes a spin out of the final corner. He has to hold there, because if he tries to rejoin, he will cause an accident. And Ian Manners was also involved in that, as we just saw them two collide as they were recovering. Car on the inside of Alan McCain there. McCain really can't catch a break. Was that Kruger who made contact with him? I think it was Kruger. McCain really can't catch a break here, can he? Miles Owens at the top of the standings. As he takes a half spin, going through the chicane there. And that'll drop him down some positions. We've also had Stephen de Gravelia has had an incident, I believe. He's recovering coming out of turn number 4 there. Plenty of drama in this GT3 class already. So let's see if we can take a little look at the half spin. They actually didn't record the half spin because he managed to keep it going, did Miles Owens. There's a GT3 car rejoining. There's the Verano Motorsport car of Kevin Smith. That's a very good point, Stefan, in the comments there. Yes, Max DeLeeden probably didn't complete his final lap, and that's why he got sent at the back of the goals, as we see a move there from Guthrie to the lead. Very convincing move to the front, and that, well, not only did he make his way past, but he gapped him already. Going through there, Guthrie takes the lead here very early on in this race. And it's looking like back to form for Guthrie this week, that's for certain. Saar is at the front of the Silvers already. He's been carving his way through. He's brought Bentes and Hoffman with him, albeit a little bit further back here. So we're seeing Jamie Dory and Ben McCluskey also getting a bit further back from these Silvers. So I wonder if anything happened to them. No, it doesn't seem to. It just seems to be the way the order has formatted itself. GT3s heading into the final complex here. Forsland is the leader of the golds at the moment. Pachalka is back there in the purple car there. But in the very bold magenta car here is Gavin Gardner. Now, he did very well last time out at Silverstone, so we'll see how he gets on tonight. He's got a bit of a head start here, being ahead of Pachalka. Forsland has got a few laps led in the books here for him. Kruger leads the bronzes. He's got himself to the front. Of course, he started towards the front of the bronzes for this race because he did have a DNF. Or he had a low finish, shall we say. And he's in front of all the silvers, is Jeffrey Kruger, and that's why they're in that order on the standings. Ben Bennyworth here, first of the silvers, got himself to the top of the standings there. In the Mustang, the new car. Nigel Stock there, second. He got second in the first race, so be hoping for the same again. Good points for him out of this round, particularly as his rival Baz Meacham is not racing tonight. Failed to mention that earlier on. Oh, we've had an incident further back. Kevin Smith. Something's happened to him. He's had an incident. And he's had to return to the pits. The Verano Motorsport car hasn't gone all that well for him tonight. Unfortunately, he's got a race win to his name. And on the banking, the car just lets go. There's a little bit of a kink on the banking where the car elevates onto the banking. It is, for a GT3 car, that is a steep banking. So it's very tricky to keep hold of the cars there. I've spun there in a GT3 car in the past, but I'm useless, so... Keen to keep an eye on this GT3 crowd at the moment. As we've got Pachalka. Well, this would be the thing now. He's set the bar so high. He's had maximum points and wins in every race this season. Can he do it in this one? We'll have to see. But that's what I mean. He's set the benchmark so high for himself now. Even I'm expecting him to get the bonus points. Getting closer to Gavin Gardner here. We'll just see if there's a difference in the lines he's taking. It seems to be turning himself a little later into the corners than Gavin Gardner is, and that's naturally what you do when you're chasing another car. You'll try and take a later line into the corner, and you see a lot later on the brakes there. A lot more confident on the brakes is Pachalka. And the reason you take a little bit of a late line and a straight line apex is because you can get the power down and get an advantage over your competitor in front on straight line speed. But on the main straight here, this looks like Pachalka, he might not actually be close enough to make a move here. A little bit of slipstream will be helping him out here, but will he be able to make that move? No, he won't. He actually backs off a little bit there. I think he coasted a little into the corner. He'll wait for it for another corner. Heading round turns 3 and 4 here. Later to the outside there. Gardner's actually gaining a little bit on Forsland in the first position there. In the white, blue and yellow car. There's the two purples battling out here. Or pinks. Whichever way you see it. Pachalka knows he wants to make a move now. He feels he's close enough to try something, but he just has to plan where. What he's doing right now is he's looking at the drivers in front and he's trying to figure out where their weaknesses are on the track and where he can get the advantage of speed on them. Gardner will be equally doing that with Forsland right now. He'd be keen to get himself in front of Forsland to take the lead of this race to help him try and get the win here. And whilst they're doing this, they're breaking away from 4th place, who's now more than 2 seconds behind. Late line there for Gavin Gardner. We'll try and get a fast exit here down the main straight. It's got to be said, Pachalka is closer to Gardner than Gardner is to Forsland. No moves yet. It is actually a tricky track to overtake on. It's all got to be done through the corners, and with that you get a good speed on the straights to make the moves into the all-important corners, which are turns 1 and 7, potentially turn 12, onto one of the main straights here. Gardner's close. I thought he was going to duck out and make a move then, but he couldn't. Very close between the top 3 here in the golds. And actually, here come the prototypes. This might well disrupt a few things, as Gardner and Guthrie were very close there. And that didn't actually disrupt these GT3s much, if not at all. But this is the part in the race where it gets a little bit nervy for these GT3s, for these prototypes that are within battles amongst one another, and they get split up by being lapped or are lapping. You can see in the background there the prototypes are making their way past the GT3s down the straight. The next one coming is Sean Shoots. The orange and white CSA car. Chalker's close to Gardner here. Gardner's dropped off a little bit from Forsland. It's a very intense battle at the moment between these three. They're all toppling over each other, corner after corner, lap after lap. Might require a big mistake or a little bit of disruption from the prototypes to split these up here, or even make some moves here, as we see Max de Leiden make his way through these GT3s, and he'll be keen to make sure that he gets through these GT3s clean, as in the last race there was contact between de Leiden and Jeffrey Kruger. As to the inside, Pachalka goes on Gardner. Gardner got hung out to dry by the E-Racecraft car there. I think it was Diogo Sá or Rui Soares, one or the other. That's Diogo Sá coming through now. Oh, is he's backed off? Not quite. Pachalka ducks back in behind Gardner, and that actually allows Forsland to break away a little bit. The prototypes are able to get on the brakes so much later than the GT3s. That's the thing that encourages the prototypes to be brave on the brakes and into the corners, because effectively they can. Around the outside there, that's Jorge Bentes making his way through, and this will start disrupting the GT3s here. McCluskey's now going to make his way past, but on the straight. Forsland has been taken to the inside by McCluskey, and that was slowing down on the apex of the corner there. That'll help out Gardner, but he's still a little way off of Forsland here, about half a second, and a good exit there actually from Gardner. It looked like it was a good exit. A couple of GT3 cars up ahead here. They seem to be lapped. Matt Emmons, Kevin Smith, teammates for Verano Motorsport. They're the cars up ahead here. They'll be getting a blue flag here. But of course, the blue flag, within category anyway, is an informational flag. And here we go. Pachalka is on the inside of Gavin Gardner. Very late on the brakes is Pachalka, nearly going into the back of the prototype there. And actually kept composed. Kept it to the inside of Gavin Gardner. A little flash of the lights of Jamie Dory, either to say sorry or to say, I'm not happy with what you've done there. I'm not entirely sure which one it was. Oh, it's the Verano Motorsport cars. Yeah, there we go. Pachalka is getting a bit annoyed with the Verano Motorsport cars here. He will be saying, you've got a blue flag, get out of my way. And to the outside goes Gavin Gardner. He's trying to make a move on Pachalka whilst lapping the cars. And look at all these cars heading into the corner here, side by side. You've got Paul Williams here trying to make his way through in the prototype, lapping all these cars. There's a huge gaggle of cars in crucial positions in this race. Paul Williams makes his way through. Pachalka has broken away from Gavin Gardner. Bad sequence of corners there for Gardner as he was getting lapped by prototypes. Forsland has got a bit of a break here as the sun comes out and it lights up the cars here, which is nice to see. Look at all these gaggle of cars here. As our camera decides to take us away from it. Gaz Williams making his way past Gavin Gardner, and the gap between Gardner and Pachalka already is Pachalka, I would say, he had it a bit easier than Gavin Gardner in that complex of corners. And Kerwari, who had a top 3 placing in his debut race earlier on, doing well in 4th place here. He's got Ben Altria for company there, Edwin Simpson also, and Jesse Payne-Wilkins. So the battle for 4th here is quite good as well. But we'll go back to the other categories. William Guthrie leads quite a distance, actually. There is Sean Shute, so it is really split between the prototypes at the moment. Got Max DeLeeden here trying to hunt down Sean Shute, trying to get 2nd place, and DeLeeden needs points. Guthrie, with a drop round, will still be top of the championship, so DeLeeden needs points to keep the championship fight going. Diego Sa has a drop round in hand, and he is a dominant force at the moment in this category. Mix it in with the golds at the moment. As you can see, Ben McCluskey right behind him, but Jorge Bentes is not too far behind, so do keep an eye on him within this championship and within this race. We know Forsland's leading in the GT3s at the moment. It's between him and Pchauka at the moment. Bronze is led by Jeffrey Kruger at the moment, and he's ahead of 1st place in the silvers, Ben Bennyworth. He's got Phil McDougall and Nigel Stock not too far behind him, to be honest. Oh, we have, hang on a minute, Jeffrey Kruger, there he is, of the bronzes. Oh, and he can't quite get it going again. Something happens between him and Kevin Smith, I think. Yeah, he's going to take a move to the inside of Kevin Smith, and they must come together. Very late move, it's got to be said, from Kruger, and it hasn't quite worked. I would say, I don't like to be too judgmental, but I would say that was too late of a move from Kruger. And getting it back together and back on the track was tricky as it is. He still kept the lead in the bronzes, though, but Andy Rooney's not too far behind. Rooney, who made a comment on the YouTube chat, didn't quite have a good first race either, and he's been really unlucky this season. He'll be pleased that he's in 2nd right now and the leader's in sight. Race 1 winner Stephen de Gravelia recovering. It's got to be said, he was down in the lower positions, but he's in 4th, and he's got 3rd place right ahead of him of Eric Sivertson. Very close together, them two. And a move might be coming from de Gravelia for that podium spot. It's quite close between Pchauka and Forsland. Pchauka has had a few clean laps here without any prototypes around him. Likewise for Forsland, but that really brings them close together when it comes to lap time. 4 seconds back now is Gardner. As we're heading towards the third point of this race. Normally what we see is the pit stops coming around 30 minutes. Aragon, they were around about 27, 28 minutes. Aragon, they were a little bit later than 30. Sorry, Mugello, they were a little bit later than 30. This is a key battle on track. This is the battle for the lead in the GT3s. Oh, it's a little look to the inside there from Pchauka. He fancied his chances, but he thought, nope, I'll hold off, I'll wait. He's playing the patience game here. He knows he's got time. He's got a whole race ahead of him, and he's got a gap behind him where he doesn't have to worry too much, and he knows he's got the pace. That's the thing with Pchauka. It'd be Forsland that it'll be the one that's forced into pushing. Pchauka seems comfortable. It's my thinking at the moment. Very late on the brakes there was Pchauka. Backs off a little bit as we go through the apex, the corners here. Mike Barber in the YouTube comments there. Yes, good shout, Mike, but I don't think Next Gen allow changes of category mid-season. So it's kind of like what Kruger showed in round 1 and the pre-season. Oh, as we see Pchauka nearly going for the move there. That's why I paused. Oh, flashed the lights there. Again, that's either him saying sorry or he's not happy with the car in front of him has done. But there was contact between them, and Pchauka was at actually a little bit alongside. He couldn't quite complete it. He was on the outside, to be fair, so it's difficult. But it's getting very, very, very tense between these two. But yeah, what I was saying is, yeah, Kruger's pace in the preseason was not fully representative of what his pace is right now in the series. Similar with Diego Sa, to be honest, in the silvers. He's dominating the silvers. And that's the thing, it allows improvement within categories, and changing drivers within categories during the season's tricky because they're scored within their categories, one, and so their points account for that, and also their inter-race battles account for that as well. So we see Guthrie to the outside of Pachalka there. That'll disrupt Pachalka a little bit, although Forslund got a little bit disrupted by Guthrie coming through there. Guthrie did nothing wrong, he did it clean. But it was down to the GT3 drivers here to make sure that Guthrie got through clean as well. Let's take a look elsewhere on track just before we see the move. If there's a move between these two, because Forslund's doing very well at the moment. We've got Nigel Stock here in second position. He's moved into second as Phil McDougall has dropped down the order quite a bit. Let's see if there was something that happened to him. Yeah, Phil McDougall here. Let's take a look. Oh, hang on a minute, hang on a minute, hang on a minute, hang on a minute. We got to go back, we got to go back. Yes, we do. We'll go back to that replay in just a second. Sorry for the confusion there, but I think Pachalka might be going for a move here. If I'm wrong, I'll be a bit embarrassed, but hey-ho. Nope, not going to go for it just yet. I thought it was close between them two as I switched the replay. Got Max the lead in there of the prototypes, lapping these two. He's made his way into second in the prototypes, and it's extended a 5-second gap to Sean Schutz. Pachalka was very quick through turns 2 and 3 there, right up the exhaust of Forslund there, but a little bit slower through the chicane there. It's got to be said, a better run through from the Ferrari. Right, let's take a look at McDougall's incident, which has dropped him down the order. So he's behind Miles Owens there, and I think that's Kevin Smith. Oh, wow. You know what, I've seen quite a few incidents like that on iRacing in the last week, where drivers are hitting the rear of a car in front and they're spinning round. It's a little bit strange, and I think it's some change in the physics on iRacing. Pachalka going for the move, didn't quite make it. But yeah, I think there is a little change in the physics on iRacing, which is not really helping that. It's a bit odd, because it wouldn't necessarily happen like that in real life. Speaking from a bit of experience. Flavio Ferreira TV in the YouTube comments there. Let's go eRacecraft. Yes, doing very well at the moment are the team. First place in silver category, Diego Sa. And Jorge Bentes. Second place, not too far behind him. I must say, this is, I would say, the biggest challenge Pachalka has had all season is from Edvin Forslund ahead of him here. Not only is it a difficult track to get the upper hand of drivers here, but it's difficult to overtake here as well. And we got an incident further back. Kerwari, who had such a good first race, has had an incident. Have happened, yeah, happened in turn 3 it seems, in the Mustang here. There's a prototype coming through. No, he couldn't, yeah, put the brakes on, and the sides of the cars hit, and that sends him round. He drops to 7th in category, and got a lot of work to do to catch it back up. Oh, Pachalka is down in 6th. Something's happened to him. Oh, they were side by side as we switch to the replay. He goes for the move here. There's contact between the two. Oh, wow. Let's take another look at that. That's, I tell you what, let's go back a little bit further, because Pachalka did make the move at the end of the straight there. So here we go. Towards turn 7 we go. Now what happens here? Wide goes Forsland. To the outside. Now the inside. Had to back out there. But a good exit here. He chucks it up the inside. And the door was shut. That's going to be one for the stewards to look at. And Pachalka, as a result, has decided to take his pit stop now. Now, that'll be tactical from him. He'll take the pit stop now. He'll get all the fuel in the car and he'll go to the end. And he'll take a fast repair if he has picked up any damage from that incident. And back there in the Mustang, we can see there also is Care Worry. So this is... well, this will go down as Karol Pachalka's breaking moment, I would suppose, in the bad sense. He's ended up in an incident here, and it's really hampered his performance, I guess, in this race. So we'll see what he can do. We'll see what he can make up here. He's definitely going to have his angry eyes on, quoting Mr. Potato Head here, or Mrs. Potato Head, and he's going to be putting in some big lap times here to try and make sure he gets some sort of an overcut, or sorry, an undercut on Forsland and other drivers in category. He'll have a bit of time to make up here, as he did drop off quite a lot. Well, that's well, drama for the books there. Just looking back at the Mustang of Nigel Stock, he was in second. He's dropped a bit of time, so I wonder if he's pitted. Yes, he did take his pit stop. So he'll be keen to get some good laps in here to make sure that he stays ahead of the likes of Phil McDougall and Jochen Siegert. As for the bronzes, Kruger still leads. It's Andy Rooney in second place. And De Grevelier not too far behind, 4 seconds behind Andy Rooney. Winner of the first race, he'd be keen for a second place at least. Oh, we've had an incident further back. Alan McCain is involved in an incident as he's recovering on the speedway there. I don't think he quite captured it. Yeah, Alan McCain really hasn't had a good run of it this season so far. 10th in class. Very, very colourful livery, has got to be said, on that Next Gen Racing with iRacing. So, we have got Max DeLeeden in the pits. There we go, he's heading back out on track now. Max DeLeeden was a fair way off of William Guthrie, but he is trying to stay ahead of Sean Shute. So an early pit stop here for DeLeeden. We do tend to see DeLeeden pitting early. That seems to be his thing, I believe. We saw that at Aragon, we saw that at Silverstone. But that means Suarez is into third position. And Sean Shute is only just up the road, so Rui Suarez will seize an opportunity to try and get himself up to third place. Of course, he's got Gaz Williams as well to try and contend with. There's Gaz Williams there manoeuvring around. I think that was Alan McCain trying to head into the pits. In fact, Gaz Williams is a long way down, actually. He's a long, long way down, so something's happened to him in this race. Edwin Forsland, leader of the GT3s, is in the pits. Gavin Gardner will go through to take the lead. Key pit stop for Forsland here. Now let's see where he comes out relative to Karol Pachalka. Pachalka is here on the circuit right now. That's heading out of the chicane, heading towards turn 7, which was the start of that battle that erupted between Forsland and Pachalka. It's a long pit lane here at the speedway. One of those where the drivers would just be hovering over that pit limiter button. And waiting desperately for their car to get released from the pits. We can see back there McCluskey's in the pits. Miles Owens is in the pits. Phil McDougall. So, heading back on track is Forslund. Karol Pachałka is back here. So he's really not that far behind. Onto the track goes Forslund. And there's Pachałka. Realistically, Pachałka is not really that far behind, and he has an opportunity here with the final half of the race here starting now to get back up towards Forslund. 7 seconds, I believe, is the gap between them. Just in the distance there, you can see. So that'll be on his relative. That'll be the time that he wants to see ticking down. And Forslund would be keen to keep that gap as distant as possible. Surely going to be a steward's inquiry between them two for that instant post-race. Hopefully it's not too many Discord arguments. There was quite a few after last week, and it wasn't very nice to see. It's just a game at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen. That's all it is, isn't it? We have to remember that sometimes. But, yeah. The other part of it is these sim racers give up their spare time to do this. Of course, it's a hobby. But they don't really want to have a bad night out there. They want to have a good night, they want to have good fun, and that's the thing. So, tempests do flare, and there are frustrations when nights don't go quite as well, because it can make it not fun. That's the thing. There you go, Sim Racing 101 from Alex Everett there. There you go. That's what sim racing's like. So William Guthrie leads in the GTPs, the prototype golds. 20-second lead over Sean Shute at the moment. He's got Max de Leiden behind him on track there, but Max de Leiden is a pit stop in hand. So that's just something to remember. We'll put the pit stops here. The amount of pit stops we'll put down there. So of the golds, Jesse Payne-Wilkins, the only one who hasn't pitted, and he is actually in the pits now. So we'll take a look to Forslund, as Gardner is really not that far behind. So Gardner's really closed the gap. Whilst Pachałka's been out of the picture here. And here he comes. He's not too far behind this. Whoa, close there between Kaz Williams and Forslund. Forslund not wanting to turn much more than he already was. And Gavin Gardner, really good comeback actually in the last few minutes, it's got to be said. He's put himself back into the first place equation here. Payne-Wilkins on pit exit, away behind the top three here, but he'll rejoin. And he will be in fourth place ahead of Care Worry here. Care Worry, we did see, had an instant in turn number 4 earlier on. And that benefits Jesse Payne-Wilkins, who is high up in the championship. So, we'll be very keen to get a good result out of tonight. Maybe if the top 3 is out of reach here, Payne-Wilkins will be pleased to cash in a 4th place for his championship. Forslund has opened up a little bit of a gap on this lap too, Gavin Gardner. You know, lots of factors could be in there. Better pit exits, better pit in laps, and actually getting on the limiter later and getting on the brakes for that stop line later. All those things to be taken into account when considering pit stops. Guthrie's on pit exit here. He'll rejoin the track. Jamie Dory hasn't pitted yet, so he'll take the lead here. And Hugo Silva's in the pits here. But Max de Leiden making his way by. And he stays ahead of Sean. Well, in fact, Sean Shute's a long way back here. So he's lost a bit of time throughout all of that. But we'll see if Suarez can come out before Sean Shute. It doesn't look like it. Sean Shute will go through. It is close, though. Suarez will be close. But an outlap here to warm up the tyres. Sean Shute has a bit of an advantage in that sense. to the bronzes. Kruger has ended up behind Stephen de Gravelia here. Gravelia's having a great night. Touch wood, touch wood. Come on, Crest drivers. I'm not biased at all. We'll see if something's happened to Kruger. No, I don't think anything has. But this is going to be an intense battle for the bronze top honours. Stephen de Gravelia, who had a win in the sprint race, albeit with Kruger retiring from the race. Close now between these two, heading down this back straight here. I believe we've had a swap of positions between Gardner and Forsland, but here is a move for the bronze lead. Kruger takes the lead from de Gravelia. Gravelia doesn't really fight too much back. I think he's seeing the bigger picture here. I'll take second place. I'll take the points for second place. We have Gardner's in front, and we'll get a replay of that. Gardner takes the lead here. Okay. So Forsland's here. That looks like he's taken a slow down. No, the replay's not quite captured it. That's really annoying. We can't see the actual overtake. Oh, it's now Gardner's back behind Forsland. Wow, okay. I can't keep up. Let's see if I can get that move. Where is it? And all this is allowing Pachauka to catch back up. So here we go. This is on the back straight. Is it a move into turn 7 from Forsland? It looks like it. It really does look like it. Lays on the brakes to the inside, and Gardner backs out of it. And actually, when going in deep was Forsland, and Gardner probably won't be very happy about that. Ends up back in second. And as I said, all of this is bringing Pachauka closer and closer in. Similar to what we had at the start of the race, where these three were 1, 2, 3 as they are now, and Pachauka had to do all the work to catch them up. Forsland's doing everything he can to stop these two from being in front. Gardner had I've mentioned it earlier, had a really good race at Silverstone, getting in his second place in the endurance race, which of course more points for the endurance race, crucial for championships. Is doing very well tonight here, it's got to be said. Most drivers have made their one stop here, not many will take another. There's actually a lot of opportunities on this track for lift and coast as well if you do end up in a fuel saving scenario. So let's have a rundown of the top 3 in each of the categories as it all rages on. Go to the prototypes first as Guthrie goes to lap Stephen de Gravelia in the BMW there. Guthrie leads the prototype gold by about 10 seconds from Max de Leiden here in second place. He had a bad first race but recovered well in this second race. We've got Sean Shute in third position here for the prototype golds. Over to the silvers. Diego Sá, not too far net timing wise behind the top 3 in the golds. In the silver category he leads, and he'll take he's on course to take another victory in this category. Jorge Benitez is in second position in the Triple Eight machine. For E-Racecraft, it'd be a 1-2 in the silver category for them as it stands. And Paul Williams is third. Second in the championship heading into tonight. Benitez is one of his championship rivals, as is Dwayne Hoffman. So he's in a decent position points-wise with them. Over to the golds. Top 3 at the moment. We've been watching this battle for much of the race. It's Edwin Forsland leading from Gavin Gardner in second position. And Karol Pachauka, who has had maximum points in every race this season, is hunting down the top 2 to keep that streak up. But of course, as things stand, if he does in fact have a not first place race tonight, it will go down as a drop round. As it stands anyway, you never know what can happen later on in the season. That's your top 3 for the golds. Over to the silvers. Ben Bennyworth, top spot at the moment. A long way clear. He's 6th overall of the GT3s at the moment as he lets through one of the gold full tilt, full tilt cars. Yeah, Ben Bennyworth, a good cache of points here tonight. Even though his rivals in the championship, Jake Pitt and Matthew Cheverton, are not racing tonight, a good haul of points here will help him in his overall tally, with there being drop rounds, etc, etc. Phil McDougall is in 2nd position in category, and he's got Jochen Seeger in 3rd place behind. Quite large gaps between the silvers, but in the bronze category, Jeffrey Kruger has had a few dramas tonight, it's got to be said, but he still leads in the bronze at the moment, but only 2 seconds clear of Stephen de Gravelia at the moment. He's having a really good night tonight. He seems to be enjoying this track. Him and the BMW seem at one with the surface here. So 2nd place here, it'd be a good haul of points for him coming out of tonight. Likewise with newcomer Eric Sivertson of the Full Tilt Cyan division. A 3rd place for him tonight, with 2nd in the first race. It's a good debut for him. So a couple of back marker, well, a back marker to contend with here. I think that's Andy Rooney. It is. And Andy Rooney not in the race here. He'll know these are the leaders in category. He'll let him through. Kara Pachalka likewise. One full tilt Porsche with another full tilt Porsche, probably in their Discord together. Come on, Andy, let me through. I've got to try and catch these guys. I've got to say, of all the full tilt liveries, this one for the blue team is my favourite. It does. I said it in an earlier round, but it reminds me of the Alpine livery, Formula 1. And actually the WEC livery from a time ago, where the blue meets white meets red, the kind of French colours. Although I don't think that's why it's on the full tilt car, but it's just a lovely, lovely mix of colours and a well-designed livery. So thought I'd just mention that. Gardner now has Pachalka to worry about behind him, relatively close, and has dropped 2 seconds off of Forslund. With prototypes passing by, he is putting off Gardner here. I think that was Paul Williams passing through. Half a second between Gardner and Pachalka. Now, this is quite a debate for Gardner now. Will his ego tell him to stay in front of Pachalka because he wants 2nd place? He doesn't want Pachalka getting past him, and particularly for championship reasons. Or will he let through Pachalka with the chance that Pachalka will help him catch up with Forslund quicker? Oh, as he goes off the track, what on earth happened there? It just looked like he drove off then, and that's it. Well, there goes what I just said. My mouse is disconnected, so I'll be just reaching to sort that out. But yeah, well, let's take a replay of that from Gardner, because that was strange. It just looked like he drove off the track. Gives Pachalka 2nd place. Let's get on board. Into turn 12. He powered down and it loosened the rear end. And I suppose what he did is he kept the car in a straight line, and kept his pedal and steering inputs fairly neutral to make sure it didn't spin. That'd be what he would have done there. Oh, as he's got two prototypes up his inside here. One of them's Dwayne Hoffman, the other one's Gaz Williams. And they safely get through. But that really hampers the progress of Gavin Gardner in this race. And Pachauka now has one car between him and the victory tonight. He's got 15 minutes to do it. And the last time he attempted it, the two came together and Pachauka spun as a result. 15 minutes for them to decide this. We were mentioning at the start of the stream there are new cars on iRacing and they have been added to this series. The only drawback of them, and this will apply to Nigel Stock actually rather than Kawari and Ian Manners and Matt Emmons, because, well, actually it will apply to Ian Manners as well as Nigel Stock, but if you do switch cars during the season, which Nigel Stock has, you do have to relinquish 50 points from your championship tally. So that's what Nigel Stock's done. Well, he said it to me. We're both in a group chat together with him being my driver. He doesn't mind it so much. He's not quite in the championship battle, but he does like the car and he wants to drive it. I drove it yesterday. It's actually a really nice handling car. It's very grounded. Oh, as we see a spin on the inside there. Who was that? I think it was Jorge Bentes. No, it was Jochen Seeger. And that'll be a gain of position for Nigel Stock as a result. Stock's back into second place in category. Well, third place in category. Oh, it's one of the full tilt prototypes. That was either Hugo Silva or William Guthrie. And through will go Nigel Stock to take the position back. In fact, Nigel Stock will go back to third position from that. But yeah, we were mentioning the Corvette and the Mustang new cars that have been added to this series. And you do have to relinquish 50 points if you do want to change to it. We don't see any Corvettes in the field. That's not to say anyone will switch to it or won't switch to it throughout the season. We'll have to see. I do think the Mustang was probably the more popular of the two cars, though. It's a new breed of car, I suppose, to iRacing. iRacing is familiar with Corvettes being in the game. They have actually had GTE Corvettes, which are the previous iteration of GT racing, which I quite miss. I quite like them. They're difficult cars to drive, but very rewarding at the same time. But the shiny new toy syndrome that is with new cars on iRacing, some drivers leap to them. And I think that's been the case with the Mustang. Pachauka is only just over 2 seconds behind Forsland. Gardner is dropping off a little bit. He's 5 seconds behind the leader now, so unless they start battling, it's going to be tricky for him to get up there. You have got the e-racecraft cars coming through, those guys. You've got Diego Sá on your outside there, and then to the inside goes Rui Soares. This is really, really tricky for Pachauka. He's in between a load of prototype cars, including Ben McCluskey, and another flash of the lights there from Karel Pachauka that either says sorry or I'm not happy with what you've done. I'm pretty sure we know which one of the two it was there. But the prototypes there are battling. Sa is not battling for points here between these drivers. This isn't his race, but considering it's his team and it is an overall race battle, he is trying to get stuck in. But Ben McCluskey here is battling for a championship as well. That's something to consider, so he'd be keen to get through these two drivers. They make their way past the GT3 leader now. That's Kevin Smith. Oh, very close between Rui Soares and him. As Soares stuck his nose in. Oh, and there is contact between them. Oh, and McCluskey goes into Kevin Smith. And it was a tricky instant to judge that one as the two came side to side with contact. Oh, that was very close. But they were side by side around the whole corner here. Yeah, I think if I want to put my steward hat on, well, not really a steward's hat, but my racer's hat on, Saar turned sharper into the corner at the same point that Smith was unloading from the corner. Flash of the lights there. That's my driver. Behave. Sorry, did I say that? Diego Saar caught a break there. He is broken away from Ruisaurus there. But actually they're getting quite close together again. Good sequence of corners there for Saurus, and actually Saar was off the pace a little bit due to trying to lap Nigel Stock. Oh, is McCluskey in and out of existence then to the outside. Can he complete it on the inside? Yes, he can. Brilliant move from Ben McCluskey there going into turn 12. Fantastic. And now he'll make his way up towards Diego Saar. But that's points extra in this category for McCluskey. Very important for him. We'll head back to the GT3s very shortly. All over the rear of Diego Saar is McCluskey. Looked to the inside but couldn't quite make it. They do split up a little bit, you know, saving hybrid and recharging it and that sort of thing, and various periods of the lap means other drivers are breaking away from you, and then you catch back up with them. That's the hard part of prototype racing, I guess, is timing your hybrid deployments just right. Let's head back to the GT3s. Less than 2 seconds between Pachauka and Forsland, so Pachauka is definitely the quicker of the two. Let's see if he holds fastest lap at the moment. He does, so he still gets the bonus points at the moment, anyway. But will he get the win? It'll be the hardest fought win of, well, either of these drives, it'd be their hardest fought races of the year. And a hard fought win for either of them. As we see Gavin Gardner lapping Jochen Siegert. Seven minutes to go in this race. Hopefully we'll have some interviews after the race. It'd be nice to get some fresh faces in the interview room tonight. We'll see if we get that. But if you can hear me, drivers, come speak to me. I don't bite, honestly. Be nice to chat to some drivers, see how they're feeling after these races, I suppose. One person who's feeling all right now is Pachauka. I mean, he might be a bit red-faced in the car, but he's down to below a second behind Forsland, so it is back on. He'd be getting slipstream from that Ferrari up ahead, which would be pulling him along, helping him along. But also Forsland has a little bit of draft from the CSA car up ahead. It might be Jeffrey Kruger. It could be Elwin Sykes, not quite sure who of the two it is. Gavin Gardner's back there. He really isn't giving up. He's hanging in there. He's less than 4 seconds off. I think he's hoping that these two will squabble for positions and that will get him up towards them. That's what I think will be going through his head right now. Prototype making their way past. ducking and diving around as one of the CSA cars pulls over to let them through. Less than half a second now between Pachalka and Forsland. The only battle for the lead on the track at the moment. Very close as they come out the final corner here. May well this be. They got so close to the grass there, trying to take as much track as they could, trying to get the advantage on one another. Heading down the main straight here. Can Pachalka do it? Forsland's not defending yet, and Pachalka is not pointing his nose out yet. He did take a little look. Oh! Later on the brakes, he thought, oh, I've got to go for something, but he did that to evade going into the back of Forsland. The battle is on here. Final 5 minutes of this race. We've got a prototype coming through, and he's backed off. Oh, then again, he hasn't. That's William Guthrie coming through. This is the thing. The prototypes are going to be coming through, knowing these two are fighting for position. How they behave around them is going to be quite crucial to the outcome of this race. Bit of a right-off lap for Pachalka there after the first turn. He's got to stretch back up to the back of Forsland. And Murray Walker did say catching is one thing, passing is another. And I once said maintaining it is another. Right behind there is Pachalka. You can smell the fumes from that Ferrari there. And he's closer. Oh, there was contact there, but somehow they keep it out the wall. Pachalka had to stamp on the brakes, and he's flashing his lights to either say sorry or I'm not happy with what you've just done there, Forsland. And he kept flashing his lights there. He really wasn't happy. We know which of the two it was. And, yeah, he's got to get it going in these last few laps. He's got to stop flashing his lights. He's got to stop worrying about it. He's got to get his head down. He's got to catch back up and try again. He had a good opportunity there, and the door was closed. It's been an intense battle between these two. It's going to be interesting to see what happened on happens on Discord after. Really not that far to go. William Guthrie. Yeah, interesting commenting on YouTube there. He was making his way past Pachalka there, and that was a teammate. He may have nearly compromised a little bit there. He did manage to make it through without any drama, but there's always that kind of covering up the eyes moment from team managers and team fans and team spectators. But another fine drive tonight for Guthrie, as well as Diogo Sarr, as well as Ben Bennyworth, who's taken a double win here tonight as well, and Jeffrey Kruger, who finishes off this feature race with a good result. We still got the GT3s to finish off here as well. We could well have a new winner in the GT3s here, pending any penalties post-race. Usually the penalties are points penalties rather than position swaps. We've got the Mustang of Nigel Stock there, just waiting on the inside, letting the leaders through. He knows it's not his battle. And you've got the prototypes there, just easing off as well. That's Jamie Dory there, letting them have their battle. We switch to William Guthrie. Starts his final lap. The white flag waves for him, and he'll start his final lap now. 15-second gap for him. Not much to worry about. Likewise with Diogo Sarr. Likewise with Ben Bennyworth. And Kruger to an extent. It's looking all the more unlikely now for Pachalka. He's dropped off a little bit. He's more than a second behind, and they'll receive the white flag as well from the gantry up above. We'll have a new winner in the GT3 Golds here. The streak is over for Pachalka, but you still have to take your hat off to Pachalka. It was a very, very good comeback. But you do have to take your hat off to Forsland as well. He's got the pace here too. Whoa, no, no, no! Big contact there between him. And I think that was... Yes, it was Nathan Healy. It was a full tilt driver, so it's... Whew. Take a quick replay of that before we jump to our leader to greet him through for the victory. Oh dear. We have to switch to our winner. William Guthrie is coming through to win the race. He's crossed the line. He's won the feature race, and it's a double win tonight for William Guthrie. Brilliant, brilliant driving from him tonight. Diogo Sá will come through. In fact, before him will be our GT3 winner, Edwin Forsland, without some drama along the way. A lot of contact between him and other drivers in this race. It's been a busy one for him, but he will be a GT3 Gold winner. He'll cross the line, as well as Diogo Sá to take wins in their categories. Ben Bennyworth will be next to cross the line, I believe. Jeffrey Kruger has crossed the line already. He's our bronze winner tonight. Not a sprint race win for him earlier on, but he does take the feature race win, which is more points. And Ben Bennyworth will take a maximum points tenure out of tonight. And there are winners: Guthrie, Sá, Forsland, Bennyworth and Kruger. Well, I do want to have a look at that incident again between Nathan Healy and Edwin Forsland. Oh. And Pachalka had to avoid. There's very good avoidance from Pachalka. But I'm going to save my words on that one. Because, well, whew. It was very, very intense stuff indeed. Right, we'll go through the results and then we'll get to our interviews. We'll start with the prototype golds. So, first place for William Guthrie takes another win tonight, another full tilt victory in the prototypes. Max Saliden takes second position, a good recovery drive in the feature race to get good points out of that race, and third place for Sean Shute. Ben McCluskey will take fourth place from Murray Soares in fifth, Jamie Dory in sixth, Hugo Silva in seventh, and Gaz Williams rounding off the finishes in eighth. The silver category, Diogo Sá takes another victory, and I believe that's 6 in a row for him. Jorge Bentes on the lead lap still. Second place for him. Dwayne Hoffman will take third position, with Nathan Healy in fourth place. We saw the incident for him on the final lap there. Paul Williams in fifth and Wesley Lewin in sixth. On to the golds for the GT3s. We do have a new winner in the GT3s. Edwin Forsland is the winner, a new winner in the GT3 Gold category, with Karol Pachalka in second position and Gavin Gardner in third position. Valiant effort from him. Jesse Payne Wilkins still not too far behind, 10 seconds back in fourth place there, with Kerr Worry in fifth position and Ben Alsher in sixth place, and only 20 seconds, just less than 20 seconds between the top six there in the golds, which shows how competitive that category is actually ending up being. Last of the finishers are Miles Owens, Ian Manners and Alan McCain. Silver category for the GT3s now. Ben Bennyworth takes a double win tonight and laps the whole field actually, but looks fit, unless they came through after the winners in the GT3s. But Phil McDougall takes second position from Nigel Stock in the Mustang in third, Jochen Siegert in fourth and Matt Emmons in fifth position, not finishing the race. And the bronzes, it is a win for Jeffrey Kruger. Gets himself back onto the top step of the podium. And Stephen de Grellia, who did win race 1, takes second place in race 2. A good night of points for him. Eric Sivertson on his debut tonight. Good strong results for him. Takes 3rd position. Elwin Sykes in 4th position, with Andy Rooney last of the lead laps in 5th there. Kevin Smith, difficult night for him. 6th place for him. Andy Chell in 7th, and Ruben Pino in 4th position. Potentially not a finisher in this race. We'll move on to our interviews very, very shortly. Just a reminder of the calendar. We're off to Road Atlanta in 2 weeks from today. We've got a week off next week because I'm going to Lanzarote later. But we're back at Road Atlanta, which is a very famous track for endurance racing. And yeah, very much looking forward to being back for that round. Okay, so we are going to step over for some interviews, and in fact the first of our interviews that we're going to have tonight is going to be with Ben Bennyworth. Hello Ben, long time no speak. Fantastic night tonight, mate. 2 wins for yourself and a good haul of points for your rivals who are not here. So yeah, just sum it up tonight.
Pretty much spot on, pretty much perfect all round, to be honest with you. Yeah, like you said, without Matt or Jake Pitt to racing today, which I was quite surprised about, kind of like the perfect storm in such a way, just sort of got the points that I needed and what we needed for the team. So yeah, I'm open to that.
Yeah, exactly what you said. Points for the team, points for yourself out of tonight. So next week we've got Road Atlanta, and we're expecting to see, well, in 2 weeks' time, sorry, we're expecting to see Jake and Matthew back. How is Road Atlanta for yourself? Is it a track you like, don't like?
I mean, I can't see why the BMW couldn't gel around Road Atlanta. If we can do Indianapolis, then I can't see why it can't be a problem around there. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. We'll see in a couple of weeks' time how the results and if I like it or not.
Yeah, pretty much, yes. So I just want to cast your mind back to Silverstone. It was quite an exciting race last time out, particularly the last 20 minutes or so after the final load of pit stops. We didn't get your reaction after the race. You didn't come in for an interview, but how were the reactions from yourself in the car after last week? Because it would have been nice to have spoken to you, but yeah, how was that for you? Because it was a good race from our point of view, but I imagine a bit frustrating on your end with there being two team drivers up against you.
Yeah, it was very frustrating because it was one of those races where you think you had it all under control, and then the next thing you knew, someone throws a curveball at you, and other things come into the equation, and I thought that it was going to be just me and Matt fighting for the win, and there was moments where we were chipping away at him and just getting closer and closer to him in lap traffic, and especially when he had that spin, I thought it made it a lot easier. But he obviously had good strategy, got back out in front of me. I thought, okay, do it all over again. And then I just saw a Porsche come out the pit lane. I was funny thinking it was like some sort of lapped car, ending up thinking it was Jake Pitt, and I looked around and I was thinking, how did he pull that one off?
Yeah.
I think that one definitely caught me by surprise, to be fair. Fair play to Jake, because he was quite far back from me at that point, to be fair. So yeah, I'll give him credit for that. But yeah, like I said, it was one of those sort of ones that got away, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah. But you more than made up for it tonight, and puts you in good stead for for 2 weeks' time. Just before we shoot off, Ben, is there anybody you want to give a shout out to? Any friends, family, fans, sponsors, etc.?
Well, I just want to give Max Spooner a good shout. I suppose you can say team boss at Quatermass, for giving me the opportunity to race for him. Andy as well, just want to give him a shout out. I know he didn't exactly have the best of races, but you know, he's a teammate that you can always rely on. Yeah, everyone really at the team, I suppose. All the sponsors that we've got on board, and I'm excited. I'm excited what we can do as a team, personally.
Excellent. Lovely to speak to you again, Ben. Hopefully see you in the IndyCar League soon. But well done tonight, mate. Good haul of points, and we'll see you in 2 weeks at Road Atlanta.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
There we go. Good to speak to one of the winners in category, actually. And I think we're gonna speak to Andy Chell now, because we could have spoken to Andy Chell last week, but we didn't quite have time. And Andy Chell is actually teammate of Ben Bennyworth, so we'll speak to him now. So we bring in Andy Chell to the commentary booth. So Andy, teammates
Alex.
Hello, mate. Teammates with Ben. Finally get to interview you, by the way. Finally, but yeah, teammates with Ben, and but unfortunately not your night tonight. It seems that I saw you seeing in Discord the Lamborghini. It's quite a handful. So
yeah. It's been. I think there's been a couple of bots with Watkins Glen this weekend. There's a 6-hour event, and don't know what's happened with the Lamborghini, but low down, it's always been a bit of a car that you have to watch and catch, because it will swap ends on you as easy as look at you. And that's the joy of driving that car, though. It is you've got a proper manage it car.
Yeah.
But tonight, I don't know if it's just this track, especially because it's a lot of low speed, 90-degree corners. It just didn't like it at all. And I think it summed up. If I had no bad luck this race, I'd have had no luck whatsoever. But yeah, I mean, it's still early days in the championship. You know, points are points, finished. You know, and I've got to give Ben a massive shout out before we go any further. I mean, 2 class wins tonight, absolutely brilliant. And you know, it's what we want. It's to be honest, it's what we all hope for when we come out. But you know, he's done absolutely cracking tonight, and yeah, I can't take that from him at all. I think he's done absolutely brilliantly. So he definitely deserves all the props there. Yeah, like I say, for me, one hopefully, as long as we don't get too much. I know we get a drop round. This will probably be mine, to be honest. But we'll see. It's the worst day, but like I say, that feature race, if anything else, it could go wrong, it would have gone wrong, to be fair.
Well, we just caught a shot of you heading into the pits very early on in the race, unfortunately. But
I was trying to be tactical after I hit. So first lap, I hit one of the raised bars. I think the car bottomed out. There was 2 of us side by side. There was me and a Mustang side by side. And the Lambo bottomed out, and it put me in the back of the pack. So I was like, right, okay, I'll be clever. I'll pit in now. That's it. I'm done. I can run and just run. And I must have just caught the back tyre over the line going in, and yeah, there was the hold for that, and then it snowballed from there. Really, to be honest. So that was that plan. It was trying to be tactical, and it didn't really pay off for us today, unfortunately.
What about the rest of the season, though? I've got a lot of drivers to remember, and I can't quite remember how your season's gone, so do pardon me there. But yeah, how's it going?
Sitting 4th at the moment in Championship, obviously without tonight's results factored in. There's 1 point between me and... forgive me, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, the guy that was in 3rd. So that's quite close. In our championship anyway, in the bronze category, so it is quite fun racing, and it has been all season, really, to be fair. The first 3 rounds there's been great fights in the bronze category, and I know obviously with how many people are fighting everywhere, we don't see them all, but I can say we are having fun in there, we are having a good laugh, and it is very good, respectful racing. So
Great.
Yeah, hopefully with Road Atlanta and Sebring, the next two, I believe. After the break, I think it is. The Lamborghini was good, Road Atlanta. Can't see why it wouldn't be, depending on balances and things. Quite a power-related circuit, so hopefully it should do well. Sebring again, same. So hopefully moving on, we'll be doing quite well.
Yeah, you mentioned Road Atlanta there, and it actually sprung a thought in my head. Road Atlanta is probably going to be one of the harder tracks when it comes to prototypes negotiating GT3s and vice versa. What's your kind of thoughts of it from a driver's perspective? Because it seemed that tonight there was a few lunges from the prototypes, if I want to speak subjectively, but yeah, what's your anticipation for Road Atlanta next week when it comes to fighting with the prototypes, I guess?
I think the first and second sector are really going to be the two main issues. The S's are going to be the main one. If they catch us there, hopefully they'll be patient. Obviously, if they're racing other people, I know that's not always something they're going to want to do. Hopefully, from a GT3 point of view, anyway, hopefully they'll be a little less eager to stick the nose in there. It can be quite scary sometimes when you go to turn in and then there's a GTP there and you're like, oh, okay, where did he come from? Because they do catch us very quick. They do catch us very quick. But I think as long as we carry on the way that it has been, which from my point of view, even when we do get the late ones where maybe the gaps stayed a little open, maybe the GT3's washed out a little, and the GTP thinks, right, okay, I'll go for it. Even then, it's genuinely quite respectful. It's not like I'll just barrel in there, and if that's the way it is, that's the way it is, sort of thing. Yeah. So I don't think it's been that bad from my point of view. Anyway, I know there's a few people that may disagree with me, but I do think as a whole the field is quite respectful, and even when they're racing, they know that at the end of the day, the GTPs are a lot more able to change under direction and speed. So it's as long as they remember that we're going to drift out on them and things like that, then I don't think we'd have a problem. It's just going to be coming down to patience and that. So I think that's the thing. It's the racecraft side of things of it, which so far, like I say, for me, I haven't seen any issues. But you never know. I might say next week. Actually, you know what? I was wrong. So we don't know, but I don't think so. To be honest, I honestly don't think so.
Well, very good insight there. So thank you for that. Just before we shoot off, Andy, anybody you want to give a shout out to? Friends, family, fans, sponsors, etc.
Yeah, I think obviously Max. I'm probably going to mirror Ben here a little bit, but Max Spooner, our team director, team manager. He's given us the opportunity to race for Quartermass, so sorry, Quartermass. Get that right, or he'll shoot me. And it's I can't fault that. Definitely to Ben, like I said already, two class wins, fantastic. But he's a fantastic teammate. He's been helping me get speed when I'm struggling. The team as a general are. And one of my other teammates, Mike, he sat with me for 2 hours last week over the Silverstone race and was acting as a live spotter for me, and was doing strategy on me there, because it takes one off the driver's mind. So it's quite nice to have that. And then all the sponsors for the team, and there's people watching. They'll know who they are, and thanks for them for supporting as well.
Brilliant, excellent. Good to speak to you, Andy.
And you, mate.
Oh, thank you very much. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Hopefully the Lamborghini's a bit kinder to you at Road Atlanta.
Let's hope. Thanks, Max. Speak to you soon.
See you around, mate. There we go. We've got loads of interviews lined up. It's great, absolutely great. Next, we are going to speak to Edwin Forsland. So Edwin was right at the centre, shall we say, of the big watch of the night, which was the GT3 lead in the Golds.
And Edvin managed to hold on to it and managed to take the win in that. So let's get a little bit of reaction from him now. We're just going to pull Edvin into the comms booth here. So Edvin, a win for you in GT3, the second driver in category to win. It was a big race where we had Pachelka gaining up on you and losing it from him, gaining back from you, but you held off for the entirety of the race. From your perspective, how was that race for yourself?
Very sweaty. I didn't really feel that comfortable coming into the race purely because I was at the festival last week, which is why I missed Silverstone. And since I hadn't raced, I just realized that about 4 o'clock, like, oh yeah, it's Thursday, I haven't raced today. So yeah, it was just drive home immediately, you know, get some laps in, and I just did not feel comfortable in the Ferrari at this track at all. The rear end was all over the place. I couldn't get the traction out of the corners nor the speed overall. But yeah, once we started the race, I actually got very comfortable in the car. But yeah, I knew that Pachelka, is that how you pronounce his name, or?
Yeah. I think so.
I just knew that he was faster than me, and once he got past the purple Ferrari Gardner, or I think his name is, or I just knew that he would get up to the back of me, and it was time to defend, you know. And then yeah, we had that first side-by-side moment where I'll break myself into, yeah, I don't know the corner names either. Not good with names, as you can hear. No, but
Apparently not.
No, but you know the 90-degree left-hander into the like the chicanes.
Yeah. Turn 7. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And we went side by side through there, and then he just sent it up the inside. When I had already started turning in for the corner, and I just realized too late, so it was too late to, like, you know, turn out to give him more room.
Yeah, it was a tricky incident for us to judge from the sidelines, I suppose. But I guess we'll leave it to the stewards to do it. But yeah, quite a couple of close moments between you and Pachelka in there. But regardless, you won the race tonight, and out of tonight, you're going to get a good haul of points. I can't remember where you are in the championship because I can't remember.
I'm pretty much. I think I'm second to last because I missed the first race and missed the third one. Right, so, okay. And at Aragon, I finished P2 in the sprint, and then I got spun round in the feature and made a idiotic rejoin, so I took myself out of the race.
But does this kind of the success of tonight? Does it kind of suggest to you, look, I've got an opportunity to make up some places in the championship this season, see how far I can get?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think the title is out of reach for me, considering I'm only like 130 points behind. So, but I'll do my best to try and catch up. I chose the Ferrari this season as well because I wanted a little bit of a challenge. I could have gone with the Merc, but yeah. And I actually said to myself tonight that if I had another bad race where I pretty much didn't score any points, I would actually switch cars to the Mustang, or maybe even switch class. But
right.
I don't know about that anymore, considering I won.
Well, yeah. I have to see how Road Atlanta goes. But yeah, the Mustang's a very nice looking car. And I think it handles well too. But
yeah. It sounds beautiful as well.
It does, yes, it does. Right, okay, so just before we wrap up, Edvin, anybody you want to give a shout out to? Any friends, family, sponsors, etc.?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to my team managers. I always shout them out because I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to be able to race for SimRace Sweden. Yeah. I have nothing but thanks to say to them because it's such a great opportunity, and I'm proud to represent the team.
Excellent.
And also a quick shout out to my dad, of course.
Of course. Hello, Dad, if you're watching.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Edwin, well done tonight. Brilliant drive. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time at Road Atlanta, unless you're at a festival, of course.
Yeah, I'll make sure to book one. There's a break next week then.
Yes, week off next week.
Nice.
And then we're at Road Atlanta 2 weeks today. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Thank you.
No problem, Edwin. See you around. There we go. That was Edwin Forsland. And good news, everyone. To quote Futurama a little bit then. We have got some updated points, I believe. Nope, they're not updated. Okay, I'll look into it on the side here. I believe we do have updated points for tonight. They should have updated, but they're not for some reason. There we go. Right, okay. So, heading out of tonight. For the golds, due to Guthrie's win, he closes in to within 8 points of Max DeLeeden at the top. And remember, there's still drop rounds to consider. So the drop round tonight, Max DeLeeden will have a drop round for tonight, which means he'll drop 29 points. And of course, 0 for William Guthrie. So you can do the maths there. It does mean that DeLeeden will fall behind. McCluskey, without considering dropsies, he's been quite, consistent this season. He sits third with 134 points, so he'll be on around about 102 after drop rounds are implemented. That's the top three for the golds heading out of tonight. Whereas in the silvers, Diego Saar has now taken the lead in the championship of the silvers. He's at the top there, even with a missed round on 140 points. Paul Williams is second, and Jorge Bentes, both drivers scoring the same amount of points tonight, are on 126 and 125 points. Quite a battle for second place. Obviously, Miguel Alpalau did not race tonight. I'm not sure if he's pulled out the series or not, but he sits fourth. On to the golds. Pachauka didn't get 4 points tonight, but he still leads the championship by a considerable margin. And Jesse Payne-Wilkins, although he wasn't in the top three for much of tonight, he does still get good points out of tonight and holds second place in the championship still. Gavin Gardner up to third place after a good performance from him tonight. In the silver category, Ben Bennyworth takes the lead in the championship, but Jake Pitt and Matthew Cheverton didn't attend tonight, so there's a drop round in hand. But if you take 15 points from Ben Bennyworth, it means he'll lead the championship by 1 point from Jake Pitt after drop rounds are implemented. So very close between them three at the top. Nigel Stock on 109 points. I don't think it's taken into account his minus 50 points for changing the car yet, but he sits fourth at the moment. And the bronze category, Jeffrey Kruger is at the top of the standings. I believe he's scored 4 less points than Stephen de Gravelia tonight, highest scorer of the bronze category tonight. He sits second position, and he moves ahead of Elwin Sykes, but only by 1 point. So there we go, that is the points heading out of tonight, and that is all we've got time for tonight. We are above our time allocated to us. We are going to wrap this up. This has been the 4th round of the championship here at Indianapolis Road Course. We've got a week off, so no racing next Thursday, but we'll be back in 2 weeks from today for Road Atlanta. This has been the Next Gen Racing Multi-Class League at Indianapolis. You can still sign up if you wish to. Some discount may be applied to those entry numbers there. If you are signing up late, you can still sign up late. Plenty of spaces available, so get involved if you wish to, or carry on watching these races from the sidelines here on YouTube and Facebook on Next Gen Racing TV should you wish to. Big shout out to the affiliates, partners and sponsors of Next Gen Racing before we head off: Benji Sim Photos, Mark Sykes Designs, Higgins Automotive, Palmax Racing, Motorsport UK Esports Division, Sam Cases, Joyce Design, Douglas Motorsport and IMB Racewear. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. This has been round 4 at Indianapolis. We've got a new winner in the GT3s and back to the top for Guthrie in the prototypes. We'll see you next time at Road Atlanta. Take care.